Great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan loves her ring from Genesis Diamonds.
I wanted something simple and with the stone that I loved, and that's exactly what he got. And then we dressed it up a little bit with the wedding bands, got a little firework action looking around it, and he definitely killed it when it came to choosing the ring.
Kylie's then-fiancé Jay did a lot of research, but chose Genesis because of the reputation, the quality, the personal service, and of course, the value.
Any man can walk through that door and know that, he's not going to be upsold or pressured to buy anything.
Kylie ended up writing a collection of songs about her bridal experience, including the viral sensation Bridesmaids.
I had at least 1,000 DMs asking from future brides where I got my ring, who I worked with because of the viral song. I think everyone kind of just looked at me as the person to ask.
And Kylie's advice to all those girls?
Go to Genesis. It's been a great experience, and they'll take care of you.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, warning, take the 8:15 into the city.
We're here.
There's a whistle up above.
We're ready to go. Hopefully you are as well. Those early risers out there who begin their workday early like us, we welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this cold Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. The Overstock sale is now underway at Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Help them clear out all their stock inventory, including patio sets and play gyms and winter pool closings and pool tables and game rooms and massage chairs and saunas and so much more. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program brought to you by our friends at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Weather-wise, we're looking at 45 degrees right now under clear skies. Partly cloudy is the call for this afternoon with a high of only 71. That's perfect weather. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low near 50. Then tomorrow, sunny with a high of 68. Coming up on the program today, we'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll talk Monday Night Football. The college basketball preseason Associated Press Top 25 poll came out yesterday after we wrapped up our show, so we'll give you some thoughts on that. Have some college football news, bad news for the two-time defending champions, and news from the University of Memphis as well. A little NBA to talk about also on the program. A little bit later on in this hour, Connor O'Gara will join us from Saturday Down South to talk some college football, specifically the SEC. In our 8 o'clock hour, we'll open things up with Humdinger's Trivia, give you a chance to win a $25 gift card to one of the best restaurants in the Memphis area, Humdinger's. Jeff Crane at 8:25, University of Memphis Deputy AD. Then at 9:05, it'll be our weekly Roads Athletics segment with head football coach Rich Duncan. Then at 9:25, Rich will be followed in studio by Parth Upadhyay from the Daily Memphian to talk some Memphis Tigers basketball. So it's a very, very busy show. We will also let you know what our topic will be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. We invite you to be a part of the program during open segments, meaning no guest. You can call in. You can always text in 24/7. In fact, if you want to text overnight, we'll have those texts ready to go when we begin our show. 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Call in or text in on the Sports 56 listener lines. That is your lineup for this Tuesday morning program as we welcome you in. How are you?
I am, let's go good today.
Did you pull out the jacket?
Pull out the jacket?
Yeah, jacket, because it's cold outside.
Oh, no. Gosh, it's not cold enough for a jacket.
Wow, look at you. Okay, I always thought you were a little wimp when it came to the weather.
I very rarely ever wear a jacket.
Okay, nice to hear. I mean, it's just, don't you see when I talk about the crispness and don't you feel it, not see it, feel that crispness in the air? There's just something about fall.
I feel Christmas in the air.
Winter, not Christmas,
I was in Lowe's
crispness.
yesterday. They got their Christmas stuff out, so I feel Christmas in the air.
Do they have the Christmas stuff out?
Mm-hmm.
Have we had the first Christmas commercial yet?
I don't know if we've had any Christmas commercials, but the stores have the Christmas stuff. Start decorating if you'd like.
Yeah, I haven't been in like those kind of stores yet. I've only been in Kroger type stores, and of course you got the Halloween stuff. Halloween 2 weeks from tonight.
Yay.
I don't get anybody coming to my house anymore because we're kind of gated in and everything like that. So, you got to buy some just in case. And
I try to keep them from coming to my house by turning out the lights. That's my.
Oh, you're a little grump, aren't you? Okay, come on, man. It's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. Well, as I mentioned, we got a lot to get to on the program today. I wanted to touch on this real quick. Won't dwell on it since it was pretty much news all day yesterday, but we were waiting to see what the poll would show for the preseason top 25 in college basketball, whether or not Memphis would make the top 25. We both said that they would get some consideration, but certainly not make the top 25. There's just too many unknowns, and that was the case. Memphis ended up getting 7 votes, which if you counted every team past the top 25, it would place them at about 37th to go into the season. No big deal, right? They have plenty of opportunities this year to prove their mettle, to prove who they are, to prove that they are a team that will go to the tournament and make noise. But as far as the poll is concerned, the usual suspects. Kansas got 46 first-place votes, number 1. Duke got 11 first-place votes, number 2. Purdue and Zach Edey got 3 first-place votes. They're number 3. Then Michigan State got a vote for first place. They are number 4 overall. Marquette is 5 with no first-place votes. Then UConn, the defending champions, got 2 first-place votes. They are number 6, followed by the Houston Cougars, formerly the American Conference. Number 8, Creighton. Number 9, Tennessee. And number 10, Florida Atlantic, the coach's pick to win the American Conference. Of course, Memphis will have something to say about that. Other schools of note from the SEC, Arkansas 14th, Texas A&M, which will be on Memphis' schedule, 15th, Kentucky 16th, Alabama 24th, Mississippi State got 20 votes, Mizzou, which will be on Memphis' schedule, got 6, 1 less than the Memphis Tigers, and the Florida Gators, also from the SEC, got a couple of votes in the preseason basketball poll.
Yeah, I think as far as Memphis is concerned, no surprise. And obviously those teams at the top, it amazes me, quite frankly, that Florida Atlantic is a top 10 preseason team. That's, to me, is ridiculous.
Why?
They got hot last year in the tournament. They were a 9 seed in the tournament.
I understand.
So do you think now that is one of the 10 best teams in the country just because they made a run in the tournament?
I don't think
it's the exact same thing that people fell into at North Carolina last year. When a team makes a run in the tournament doesn't mean they're suddenly a great team. It did, they got hot in the stretch. So everybody that wondered why North Carolina was so disappointing in the regular season last year, because they weren't that good. They just had a run the year before. You're a 9 seed for a reason.
Well, I agree with you. It doesn't mean that Florida Atlantic won't be really good this year. They don't have to go in the same direction as North Carolina last year after the year prior. But what are voters supposed to do? Yes, you're supposed to be projecting what will happen this year, but really you're basing it on what happened last year. And last year they made a run into the Final Four, and they have basically all their players back. So I could see them voting them there. It doesn't mean that they're going to be a top 10, let alone a top 25 team when it's all said and done.
I mean, if Memphis doesn't freak out at the end of the game and beats them, they're probably not even in the top 25.
I agree.
But because they won that game, they're number 10.
Yeah, but then what voters do is they start second-guessing themselves that maybe Florida Atlantic was better than what we projected. Maybe they were better than a 9 seed. Maybe they're really, really good. So then they start to look at their criteria and they come up with, well, they didn't lose anybody. It's hard to take them out of the mix when a lot of the teams have new players. In fact, some have complete makeovers. So we're going to give Florida Atlantic the benefit of the doubt. I hear what you're saying, but I can also understand the voters and why they voted them into the top 10. But again, I mean, Houston lost a lot from last year's team, but I'm sure that they got a lot coming in. Kelvin Sampson recruits incredibly well. Tougher for them, though, because they're going to be playing now in the Big 12 as opposed to that American Conference schedule. UConn lost a lot from their national championship team, but still have quality players, no question. Purdue banking on Edey. You know what's going to happen. They're going to get to the tournament. They're going to have a great regular season. They're going to get knocked out early. That happens every time. And then Kansas is always going to be there. Duke's always going to be there. I'm surprised Kentucky's this low. Kentucky always gets the benefit of the doubt. They're kind of like Wisconsin in football. You always get the benefit of the doubt. But 16th is a little bit low. Creighton, a lot of love for Creighton. Creighton's got those local connections. Derek Kellogg is now an assistant on that team. Ryan Miller, of course, an assistant on that team. Both friends of the show. So anyway, that's how it shapes up. We'll get more when Parth joins us. He voted Memphis number 25. So he wasn't the only one who gave Memphis a little bit of love.
The Ken Palm's rankings, he had Memphis at number 32 in his rankings. Mm-hmm. He has Florida Atlantic at 37.
Does he really?
Yes.
And we'll get Ken Pomeroy on the program as we do each and every year to talk about the college basketball season. All right, moving from college basketball to college football. As we talked about yesterday on the show, there were some questions that needed to be answered by Ryan Silverfield, Tigers football coach, yesterday at his weekly press conference in preparing for this weekend's Battle of the Bones in Birmingham against UAB. He sort of kind of answered the questions. First of all, as far as Blake Watson is concerned, he said, and it was very interesting because he didn't wait for any questions. He jumped on it right away, and he doesn't usually do that when it comes to any sort of injury. So he said he's day-to-day. We still don't have complete clarity if it was truly an injury or not, but he said he's day-to-day. Now, when I was leaving the press conference, I did see Blake Watson and Seth Hennigan said hello to him. Blake was on a bike. Seth was there, and they usually come in for treatment. They got a masseuse out there, so they take care of them. And so, you know, it doesn't make any sense that it wouldn't be an injury because of how productive he is. But it was very weird and kind of shrouded as to why that move was made when we didn't hear of any injury, we didn't see of any injury. So again, it's see any injury. We don't usually get Ryan coming up and saying anything about an injury in his press conference. And he did right away to possibly stop anybody from asking any more questions about it. I don't know. It was kind of weird. He just said, hey, he's day-to-day. So we'll take it as it is. He's day-to-day and was banged up a little bit, and hopefully he'll be ready to go at UAB. The other story, of course, was Andres Fox and what was going to happen to him after the low blow, let's just say, in that game against Tulane. And he had said yesterday, 11:30, when the presser took place, that there would be some discipline, that they were waiting to talk to the league, even though there's nothing that guarantees, like a targeting penalty, that you're going to be suspended. But in consultation, they announced later in the day, in consultation with the American Conference officials, with the University of Memphis, they decided to suspend Fox for the first half of the game against UAB. So basically penalizing him like you would a targeting penalty.
He was definitely targeting.
And he hit his target.
Blow to the head.
Easy.
I mean, that is as targeting as you can get. He had a direct target that he was aiming at, and he hit it.
So I assume football players don't wear cups.
I'm guessing that guy was not.
No. I mean, I guess you could still get hurt with a cup, but...
By the way he went, I'm going to guess that he was not wearing one.
Well, anyway, Fox will be out for the first half of the game against UAB. Memphis, by the way, which opened as a 4.5-point favorite, now a 5-point favorite over UAB. Other college football news from Memphis. The kickoff time for the Tigers game at North Texas a week from this Saturday was announced. It'll be a 2 o'clock game in Denton, Texas. 2 o'clock a week from Saturday. This game, this Saturday against UAB, is an 11:30 kickoff. So a couple of early games the next 2 weeks against UAB and then against North Texas. Also from the University of Georgia, the news for Brock Bowers, more serious than first thought. Kirby Smart had said he didn't feel it was that serious, and that's what I was talking about yesterday on the show. Well, later in the day, we found out that he underwent ankle surgery on Monday, and Bowers will be out 4 to 6 weeks. At least that's what they say, 4 to 6 weeks. Who knows how it may affect Brock Bowers for the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he's able to come back. But anytime you're having surgery, you don't know for sure how you're going to recover from that. And so that is a big blow for Georgia, whose offense has not been spectacular by any means, and he is the best offensive player on that team. So that is a massive, massive loss for them the rest of the way.
Last night on the gridiron, Week 6 of the NFL wrapped up with your Dallas Cowboys taking down the LA Chargers at SoFi out in Los Angeles. 20-17, Cowboys win to improve to 4-2. Chargers fall to 2-3. I thought Dak, the much maligned Dak Prescott, was really good. A lot of darts he threw, a lot of passes right on target, under duress. Good game for Dak. It was very hard for Tony Pollard to run the football, but he did a lot of good things, catching the ball out of the backfield. But really, this one was more on Dak because the Cowboys' defense, even though they only gave up 17 points, so it's not like, oh man, run for the hills because the Cowboys' defense is bad. They just weren't able to get to Herbert, whereas vice versa, the Chargers were able to get to Dak Prescott. But it was Dak Prescott who I think helped them win this football game, 20-17.
Yeah, the Cowboys' offensive line was bad. Dak, I thought, was pretty good. The throw to Pollard is a terrible throw that he missed, but I mean, they got lucky that Justin Herbert missed Keenan Allen twice wide open on the double moves. The second one, literally, you can't be more wide open than that. And like that's Justin Herbert. I'm not to see him miss those two throws, but especially the second one is like crazy.
And boy, was Allen frustrated. Did you see that look on his face?
I mean, two beautiful double moves. They were taking advantage of Deron Bland, who loves to jump routes, and twice you're wide open, and the guy literally didn't even get it within reach of your hand. Like didn't even give you a chance to maybe make some miracle catch. It wasn't even close to him. The Cowboys defense, did make the two big plays in the end. As Micah Parsons gets the sack, and then Stephon Gilmore gets the interception to end the game. But yeah, and they got pressure on Herbert and forced him into some hurried throws at times in the game. But they weren't able to get that sack until Parsons got the one on the second to last play of the game. Mike McCarthy, I just like that dude. I just don't.
You don't like his decision making, his in-game coaching?
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the end of the first half, you get inside the 20-yard line, 14 seconds and 2 timeouts. And then you throw a 2-yard pass, and then you just let the clock run down. Let the clock run down to 3 seconds to kick a field goal.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
That timeout, you don't get to save it. Take a shot. Like you still have the entire field. Like you don't even have to throw to the end zone if you don't want to, because you've got a timeout. Like you've got 8 seconds to run a play. You might score a touchdown. I know. I mean, granted, their track record in the red zone would indicate you're probably not going to score a touchdown there, but I just don't understand why you're just accepting that. Like it's some of the stuff he does is so bizarre.
It's almost as though he didn't trust Dak in that situation, that maybe Dak would turn it over, throw a pick or something, and he wanted the 3 points.
Probably not a terrible thing, but again, like if he's your starting quarterback, you're paying $45 million to, I'd think you trust him for one play.
Yeah, he had a good night, but I know it was early in the game, so maybe he didn't have the trust factor going there.
I mean, it's just, and that was weird. I still don't understand, and I don't if it's that what the effort they made to throw Michael Gallup the football last night was an incredible effort. I mean, the dude had 10 targets and 3 catches.
Wow. How many targets did Brandon Cooks have?
How many catches did he have?
What did he end up having?
He had 4. How many targets he had?
4.
4.
Yeah, they needed to go to Cooks more. They needed to go to CeeDee Lamb more.
How many catches does CeeDee Lamb have?
How many? I didn't watch the game.
7. You know how many targets he had?
7.
7.
Wow.
They were 11 for 11
with
targeting those two guys. Michael Gallup, he just keeps throwing the ball to him.
3 of 10.
And the one he was like, that we almost threw the interception, like he's like blanketed. Like there's not even the thought of that ball getting to Michael Gallup, and Dak just kept trying to throw to Michael Gallup. Like,
interesting.
Luckily Tony Pollard made the one big play on the 60-yard reception, and it was a great run after the catch. And that was a really good play by Dak to get out of that and find him down, and then he made the great run afterwards. But, again, the other pass to Pollard was he's open. That should be a touchdown, and Dak throws it out of bounds. That
was not a great throw, obviously, but he made a couple of really. You mentioned the one. He made a couple of really good throws. And I should say I didn't watch the whole game. I watched after the Phillies wrapped up their win over Arizona. I flipped it on, and it was the fourth quarter, so it was good timing by me. So I watched Dak throw some seeds. He threw some good balls. On the run, he threw some good damn balls. I mean, the touchdown was a really good throw. It was a great catch by Cooks, but it was a really, really good throw. You're right. He overthrew Pollard a little bit coming out of the backfield. That should have been a touchdown. But Dak played much better than what I've seen previously this season. And they get a win.
He didn't throw an interception. That's always a good. Anytime you can get through the game without an interception,
exactly.
That is a positive thing. There's no doubt. But
okay.
Yeah, it was a win, but it shouldn't have been because Herbert's not going to miss those 2 throws.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly not going to go 0 for 2 on those in most situations.
But you wonder, even though they didn't get to Herbert, how much was in the back of his mind knowing that he was going up against a Cowboys defense that is pretty ferocious, and there's a guy by the name of Micah Parsons.
And they didn't get any sacks until the end, but they got pressure on him. Like they
that's
pressured
what
the
I'm
heck out of him
saying.
in the first half.
That it rushed him.
They certainly affected him.
Yeah,
but not on those 2 plays. The 2 plays where he overthrew Allen, there was nothing.
Oh, I'm not making an excuse for missing those receivers. He should have made those passes. He's an NFL quarterback, and he's a good NFL quarterback. But again, in the back of your mind, you're like, Parsons is somewhere around here. So anyway, Cowboys get a W in NFL action Monday Night Football. Major League Baseball playoffs, very quickly, the results from yesterday. Texas defeats Houston yesterday afternoon 5-4. They win 2 in Houston. They are unbeaten in the postseason and now take that 2-0 lead to their home park, starting with Game 3 tomorrow. And with this game, it was all about the start. Texas's first 4 batters in their lineup all scored in the first inning. They were able to overcome a couple of bombs by Yordan Alvarez and win the game 5-4. And now Max Scherzer is back, and he's going to pitch Game 3 for Texas, leading 2-0.
Yeah, it's just, for Framber Valdez to have that start, just crazy. And then he's like, after the game, talking about how they got lucky. Dude, just like, I just admit the fact you got killed. You got beat up in the first inning. I don't need to call it luck. It just, the first 5 hitters of the game reached base. One of them's on your air. But the Rangers are just, they are rolling. Now, Houston, it's probably best for them that they get out of Houston because of their struggles at home this year, which still makes 0 sense whatsoever. I can't comprehend how they could be so bad at home.
Mm-hmm. And they crushed Texas at the end of the regular season at Texas in a 3-game series.
They're 21 games over 500 on the road. They were 3 games under 500 at home, and now they're 1-3 at home in the postseason. So for them, they're better off getting on the road. I thought Jeremy Pena in the 9th inning, I thought the ball he hit in the 9th was going to, I thought that was getting out.
I thought it was going
in
as
that
well.
ballpark. Anytime any ball's hitting well at all, I think it's getting out of there. But I was surprised that ball stayed in the park. But yeah, it's for them to have Valdez go out and pitch like that is just, now granted their bullpen did a great job to keep them in it and let them keep hitting solo home runs. But the game was decided in that fifth inning with the bases loaded, nobody out, and to not score at all, including Altuve and Bregman up, and to not get a run out of that inning. I mean, that is an absolute killer.
Well, there's something to say about also getting some offense early, and a lot of teams have been doing that in this postseason, scoring in the first inning, and many of them have gone on to win. We talked about the Texas win yesterday with that early explosion. The same deal with the Philadelphia Phillies as they draw first blood against Arizona. They win 5-3. Zach Wheeler was incredible. Then you bring in the relievers, and all of a sudden now it's now the sideshow begins. But the Phillies were able to hold off Arizona. But it starts off with Schwarber, first pitch he sees, bottom of the first, home run. And these are tape measure shots. Bryce Harper, batter later, like 2 batters later, home run on his birthday. Next inning, Nick Castellanos hits his 5th home run in his last 3 games. Just so much offensive firepower with those bats for the Phillies. They left a lot on base, and again, Arizona was able to peck away there, but in the end, Philly wins. They'll play again tonight, game 2. Arizona really in a situation where they need to win. They would split, steal home field. It's a very important game for them, but it's going to be tough with the Phillies and that home field advantage. It was also great last night to see our good friend of the show, Andy Fletcher, behind the plate as he's working his first championship series. How about that?
Yeah, cool for him. Great for him. And I didn't realize he was. I saw something on Twitter that he was the home plate umpire, and I was like, that's awesome. Awesome for him.
Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job. He gave the pitchers very consistently that low strike, but again, very consistently, and that's all you can ask for from a home plate umpire. Folks, if you're looking for a fun place to play golf, a place that probably you haven't played there before unless you were a member or you were a friend of a member, a family member, because Meadowbrook Country Club out in West Memphis, Arkansas, has been private since 1959 when they came into existence. Well, that's no longer the deal. They are now semi-private, meaning you can play as a daily fee golfer. They are open Tuesday through Sunday. All you need to do is call them and set up a tee time. So you can go play this course, again, that was built in 59 or opened in 59. Challenging layout, Bermuda greens. You can play for $59 in tax, and that includes the cart. Again, it's 1250 West Broadway in West Memphis, Arkansas. Here's the number to call to set up a tee time. 870-394-4186. That's 870-394-4186. If you're driving, don't try to write it down. Just Google it, Meadowbrook Country Club. Give them a call. Mark Bartlett will more than likely pick up. He's the pro out there. He's a great guy, and he'll set up your tee time to go play a really fun course. And it's less than 15 minutes away from really anywhere. Midtown, downtown, an easy trip. Easy trip from anywhere in this area to go play Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis. And you can also become a country club member. So they're still taking memberships as well, but they've opened it up now to have all golfers play that challenging layout. $350 per month to become a member of the country club. That includes golf, tennis, pickleball. They have a great swimming pool, restaurant, and bar. It's all for you as a member of the country club at Meadowbrook Country Club. So give Mark Bartlett a call, set up a tee time, ask him about golf lessons. He can also fit you for Shrixon clubs. It's a fun course. Try it this weekend. Meadowbrook Country Club, 1250 West Broadway, West Memphis, Arkansas. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Again, 870-394-4186. That's the number to set up a tee time. When we come back, Connor O'Gara joins us to talk some SEC college football. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or Sweet Maple Bourbon, the taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road, and now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring and continue to get compliments on it because it looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, but he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world, and that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew that they were the best.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant setting. Got the value price Genesis is known for, and now they both tell everyone they meet about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
Always been you, and I've always been your wife.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. I still see some flashing lights over here on 55 northbound between Rains and Winchester. Again, it's just a little bit of rubbernecking going on with all that heavy traffic coming up through South Haven right now into South Memphis. Traffic's picked up even more on I-40 across the bridge coming over from West Memphis. Still looks good, 51, as you make your way out of Millington headed towards town. Hey, if you get hurt in a car crash, call 901 Attorneys right here in the Memphis area. Check them out online at 901attorneys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:32 the time. Hour number one here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd. Now time to talk some college football, specifically the SEC, with our friend Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com and SaturdayTradition.com. Here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
We talk college football with Connor O'Gara every other Tuesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. You can follow Connor on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Hey, Connor, how are you?
Gentlemen, doing well. We got a little chill in the air down here in Central Florida. I was just telling Zach, life is good, man. I love getting to feel like it's actually fall, even though I live in a place that doesn't believe in that.
Yeah, you want a little bit of a Christmas in the air, but you don't want it to frost because then it kills the oranges and the grapefruits and all that stuff, right?
You are so right. I have an avocado tree in my backyard that is still recovering from a freeze that was uncovered a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's brutal when it catches us off guard. We don't like that.
So you say what's your temperature?
Right now it's like I think 60 on the dot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
wow.
crazy.
How about that? Yeah. Well, look, it feels like football weather. We're in the midst of football season. Yesterday, the news came down about Brock Bowers. How much of a factor could this be, not having Bowers for these games that are coming up for Georgia against the likes of Florida and Tennessee and Missouri and so on and so forth?
It's huge. He's the best player in college football. He's the best all-around football player that this country has. And if you disagree with that, if you disagree with his track record, just go watch how he plays the position, because he's not just a receiver at tight end. The things that he does in the ground game as a blocker and his willingness to do that, he is so important to everything they try and do. They built their entire offense around him. And, one guy isn't going to be able to replace Brock Bowers. This is not a situation where Oscar Delp steps in and he looks like Brock Bowers 2.0. They are now enduring a stretch that's really difficult, too. I mean, I think we were all looking at Georgia's schedule coming into this year thinking, it's going to be a cakewalk. They can get to 12-0 easily. It's looking tougher. I mean, they have 3 of their next four games are against ranked opponents. And that's, the one team that's not ranked is Florida, neutral site, and Florida's getting, votes in the AP poll. So I think it's going to be really difficult for a group that's gotten off to all these slow starts. I think that there are a lot of questions about this team. And if they can come out of this undefeated, they get him back around the SEC championship or playoff time, which I think that's probably the outlook right now. I think Georgia fans will be feeling great and feeling like, wow, we were fortunate to be able to survive that and get to this point.
Yeah, because this does, obviously, you said there's not the weapons on offense that they've had probably in the past or that certainly can replace him. And this while this defense is good, this isn't the defense of the past couple of years either, where you could say, we'll just kind of lean on them for the next month and a half.
Yeah, I think, you came into this year thinking the weapons were the best that Georgia's ever had on the outside because, not only did they have Ladd McConkey coming back, but also you go out into the transfer portal and you add Ra Thomas, a guy who had a big-time role at Mississippi State, and Dom Lovett, who had a really underrated season last year at Mizzou playing that slot receiver position. And those guys have been relatively quiet. Now, they need them to be able to step up. They need Roseby Jackson. They need this true freshman tight end, Lawson Lucky, a guy that a lot of people around college football are probably going to learn his name really, really soon that Georgia fans are super high on. But I think they need all of these guys to step up, and they need Mike Bobo to look like Todd Monken. That's what this comes down to. If this is an instance in which all of a sudden he doesn't know what to do, he can't troubleshoot, Carson Beck is going to regress, and they will lose a game before they get to potentially the SEC championship. I think that's on the table for a team that very much relies on Brock Bowers in this peak version of Brock Bowers that we were seeing before the injury.
I know how people are talking about this being a down year for the SEC, and I always bring up Georgia, because Georgia obviously has not had a blemish. They've won 24 straight. They're the two-time defending champions. But now this news of Brock Bowers makes it interesting that perhaps there will be a blemish before it's all said and done. And even if they win the East and have a loss, then go into the championship game, who knows what could happen. Is it even feasible? I know technically it is, but is it in your mind that the SEC could come up empty for the playoff?
No, it's still not. I mean, look, 16 of the last 17 years, the SEC champion has played in a national championship. Think about that. I mean, there is a standard.
That's
it
crazy.
is it's wild. And like the one instance in which that team didn't was 2014 Alabama, who still got to the playoff. They just lost to Ohio State in the semifinal. So we're talking about a respect level here that is just different than everywhere else. People might say, oh, that's just SEC bias, you're paving the road. It's like, all right, well, then the SEC would collapse every year in the national championship, and it would essentially do what my alma mater's conference has done for the entire 21st century. That is the Big Ten. Just pretty much puke on your shoelaces once the games actually matter. Like, that the SEC doesn't do that. I still think that their position gets benefit out, but here's what I will say. More conferences than ever feel like they have a chance to win a national championship, and that's the difference between this year. It doesn't mean that it's 2007 all over again, but it does mean that everybody feels like they are involved. And in the last year, the 14 playoff, I think that's a good thing for the national popularity of the sport.
So if Bowers is out for the rest of the regular season and even an SEC championship game, would you still consider Georgia right now the favorite to win the SEC?
I would. They haven't lost a regular season game in 3 years. And they've had injuries. They've had tough injuries. I mean, Nolan Smith, losing your captain like that, the way that they did last year, and a couple of years ago, they had to endure the George Pickens injury, which everybody was talking about. I think Bowers is at a different level than either of those two players, and I have a lot of respect for Nolan Smith and what he's done, what he's meant to that program. But I still think that they are the favorites until proven otherwise. If they're so beatable, then let's see somebody beat them. Let's see somebody beat them besides Bryce Young playing the best game of his college career and looking at an SEC championship that, honestly, like Georgia didn't have to win. Now, obviously, they got beat, and Alabama was the better team that day. But still, that's the only loss that we're talking about in the last 3 years. Until somebody actually steps up and shows that they can go 60 minutes and close the deal against Georgia, to me, they are still the favorite.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. But again, I always like to think about chaos. Every year, I think about the possibility of some chaotic finish in college football where it's going to be extremely tough to figure out who's in the playoff. Now, next year, we really won't have to worry about it. We start a 12-team playoff. But I was just thinking, really the only way I can see the SEC being shut out, which seems impossible, would be one of those teams in the Big Ten, which they're certainly going to get in one of those teams, but they go undefeated, they win the Big Ten, they're in. Either Florida State or North Carolina runs the table, goes undefeated, wins the ACC championship. The Pac-12, Washington beats Oregon. I don't know if they would play Oregon again in a rematch or whatever, but they run the table. They go undefeated. That's three that are getting in. And then if Texas beats Oklahoma in a rematch in the Big 12 championship, only has the one loss, they beat Alabama. And if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, you couldn't put Alabama over Texas. So those other four would be in, and the SEC would come up empty. That's the only scenario I can come up with.
Yeah, probably. And even that, what you just described, this is going to upset people because of the head-to-head. But Alabama, there would still be people like, wait, but Alabama beat Georgia, and that's a better win than Texas beating Alabama. I realize that's totally backwards. That's totally backwards. I know. It's stupid. And I would push back on that. I absolutely would. But even that scenario that you just described, there would still be that argument for Alabama.
Yes, there would.
It's like, hey, Georgia hasn't lost in 3 years. That's a great win.
You're right. Absolutely.
After last year's crazy shootout, It would appear as though Tennessee-Alabama this year will be a defensive struggle. Tennessee gets after quarterbacks. Alabama can't protect their quarterback. Can Tennessee go down there and beat them for a second straight year?
I don't think so. But, Eli, you hit the nail on the head. That's the biggest mismatch in this game. And it's kind of weird because the over-under for this one is 48. Both teams exceeded that on their own last year in this game. It's going to have a much different feel. Tennessee is so different than who they were last year. I mean, the fact that they just won a 20-13 game, first time that Josh Heupel has ever coached a team that won a game in which it didn't score 30 points. I mean, this guy's in year 6 of being a head coach. That's an incredible thing to think about. And Alabama can't protect to save its life. They showed the stat on SEC football final. Alabama's the first team in the last 20 years in the SEC that has a streak of 6 consecutive games allowing at least 4 sacks. That Tennessee front with Tyler Barron, with Aaron Beasley, with James Pierce, who's having an awesome year, those guys are going to get after Jalen Milroe. He is going to take sacks. The question is he going to turn the football over? He didn't turn the football over in that game against Arkansas. If he turns the football over even once, they probably lose that game, a 3-score comeback for the Hogs. But, yeah, I don't think they're going to quite have enough. I don't think this Tennessee team at the quarterback position with Joe Milton is built to go on the road and win a game like that at Alabama. But Alabama plays down to its competition. That's what it's been doing for the last 2.5 years.
What team's the biggest disappointment in the SEC to this point?
You know, I think it's got to be Texas A&M. It's got to be Texas A&M. And look, I think that they've had a lot of injuries. They had like 3 defensive starters go down in that Tennessee game last week, and I picked them to lose. But still, to be at this point and already have 3 losses, and you're already talking about, oh, well, the injuries. Year 6 of this, man. Year 6. You've got a head coach that's still owed $76.8 million, and you're just trying to end an 8-game road losing streak.
Wow.
I mean, come on. This
believe.
is terrible. It's unbelievable to think about that. And while Jimbo Fisher's not getting fired because A&M is in college football hell, I do think that this is the most disappointing team because I said they're going to be the most improved team in the SEC. And are they going to get back to getting those 8-4 jokes? I don't know. I really don't. And I think that this is a point in the season in which you can go one of 2 ways. And I don't necessarily think that they have played up to the level that they should have because they have too obvious of weaknesses in the secondary at times. And I think that they've wasted some golden opportunities.
Who right now would be your coach of the year?
I was just going to ask you that. I know my
answer.
Is
it Drinkwitz?
I think it's Drinkwitz, right?
Yeah, it's probably. And coach of the year is a lot of times it's just coach who overachieves.
Yeah, exactly.
The most.
Yes.
That's what we're supposed to call it. Although in the SEC actually, if you look back on it, they usually reward greatness, right? They usually reward the team, the coach that's like going to a national championship or something. Like Kirby and Saban have won coach of the year their fair share of time. But Drink is probably in that spot now because of the move that he made in the offseason to bring Kirby Moore as his offensive coordinator, his first play caller as a head coach, and it's been great. I mean, go figure, like they go into Lexington as an underdog in that game. Luther Burden is held to 2 catches for 15 yards. He gets a little bit banged up in this one. They don't run the ball particularly well. Brady Cook doesn't have his most efficient game, and they win by 17. I mean, that is not an easy thing to be able to do. Drink deserves a lot of credit. The fact that they're already at bowl eligibility in October, man, like they're going to be so improved. Second in the country they were in percentage of returning production, the great stats that Bill Connolly always puts together, and they look like a team that has improved and made those next steps. I think they win 9 games this year.
And to your point, too, on that, if Georgia now, without Bowers, ends up finishing out undefeated, then maybe Smart gets rewarded at the end of the year because they're like, dude, you're still going undefeated even without him for half the season.
Yeah, that's very much on the table. Wouldn't necessarily be a surprise to see that, although it's still going to be like, oh, well, hey, it's Georgia. How hard is it to win with all that 5-star talent? But in reality, if you took the best player off of any team in the SEC and were like, hey, you have to go undefeated or else we're going to say you're a disappointment, there are not a lot of coaches that'd be able to endure that.
Yeah. Final thing for you, pulling out the O'Gara crystal ball. Will there be any coaching changes after the season?
History says yes, guys. It's just so rare. I think 2018, I want to say. Yeah, I think 2018 going into 2019 is the only time in the last, 15 years that there hasn't been any coaching turnover. History says yes. I love Sam Pittman. I'm as big a Sam Pittman fan as there is. If there's one, it could be that. I don't think Mississippi State is going to make that move with Zach Arnett unless this gets really, really bad and it looks like it's a total dumpster fire and he's lost control of the program. I don't think that's going to be the case because they let him hire his own staff. This is not an interim head coach. So I think that's worth keeping in mind. But, yeah, history just says yes, and one of those two would probably be the most likely.
Don't you feel like this weekend is massive for Pittman? If they were to come back home and lose this game to Mississippi State, it gets really ugly.
It does. It really does because they fought in that game against Alabama, down 24-6. They hadn't had a first down. It's late in the third quarter. You're on the road against Bama. You've lost 4 in a row. They hadn't had a first down since the first quarter. KJ's just taking hit after hit after hit, and they fought all the way back after that key face mask. And look, like that is a team that, in my opinion, I know you're as good as your record says you are, but they have a lot more strength on that team than what their record would suggest. I think they win this weekend, but yeah, if they lose, man, this is the moment that Sam Pittman could just not afford to be able to watch his team come up short again.
Yeah, that's why I brought up that question. I was staring at that 7-point. They're favored by 7 at home, and I was thinking, gosh, if they lose, not that they would fire Sam Pittman this weekend, but he would certainly be square on the hot seat.
It's one of those, like, they start losing early in that game, like then you could start hearing the boos in the stadium, like that it could be one of those things.
Yeah,
like they need to come out and get off to a good start in this game.
Yeah, like a domino effect, no question about it. Well, Connor will have you covered, all things SEC at Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Catch him every other Tuesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings, talking college football. Connor, as always, thank you so much. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
Take care.
Folks, if you got a move coming up, if you're moving to a new home, maybe across town, maybe across country, wherever you're headed, you want to make sure that all your stuff, all your belongings get where they're going without any problems. Try and take some of that stress and worry out of the whole process for you. Well, the way to do that is get the professionals to help you, the right professionals that do that perfectly for you. Well, that would be Black Tie Moving. 901-316-6196. 901-316-6196. That's the number. You can also go to the website at blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Contact them, talk with them. They work with you, coming up with a plan fitting your needs and fitting your budget. And they give you a no obligation quote right up front so you know exactly what it's going to cost. There are no surprises. You also get a moving concierge available 24/7 throughout the move to make sure that if there's anything that comes up, any questions you have, they've got somebody there to answer those for you. Don't try and do it yourself. Don't ask your friends to help you move. Get the professionals from Black Tie Moving. 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Congress is about to go back at it as far as NIL conversation is concerned. We'll give you that story, plus let you know what the topic will be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things when we return for our final segment here in Hour 1. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Klein Tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece Modbox mobile workstation for $319.94 and the Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand at Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Most shoppers today fall into one of two categories. You could be like Dave, who settles for nothing but the finest.
I drive only European luxury sedans, wear the finest Italian leather shoes. My shirts are custom made, and I expect white glove service from those I do business with. I appreciate world-class brands, and at this point in my life, I just don't want to compromise on quality, no matter what I buy.
Or you might be like Steve, whose goal is to always get the best deal.
I'm frugal. I'm all about finding value. I want the best price, and I don't mind going out of my way to get it. I work hard for my money. I just want to make sure when I buy something, I can have confidence in knowing I'm not overpaying for it. Stop being cheap. It's being smart.
You never see these two guys in the same store, except for one.
That's why I shop at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds is that rare shopping experience where you can have it all. Uncompromising luxury and unbeatable value. Exceptional service and the guaranteed best price in America. A premium experience and a smart purchase. This is where the best of all worlds come together. Genesis Diamonds, Memphis's direct diamond importer at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. White Station and Quince, that's where you'll find everything you need this time of year. My nightmare time of year, the leaves are falling quickly. Impossible to keep up with.
That's why you call service.
I'd have to call them 14 times a year. I don't have that big cash like you do.
No, it's not about that. You do it a couple of times, they'll take care of it.
You don't even have a yard. Don't tell me how to manage leaves.
I did this in my old house. I didn't do it. You think I was doing it? No way I'm doing it.
And they changed the way they're doing them this year. Got to bag all of them now. Nonetheless, but I can get my bags. I can get my bags and everything I need over there at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Of course, Big Green Egg supplies, everything you need, all that Benjamin Moore paint. You can find it at East Memphis Ace Hardware right there at the corner of Quince and White Station.
All right, 5 favorite things topic for tomorrow. Your 5 favorite medical shows of all time. Your 5 favorite television medical shows of all time. It could be anything from even MASH, to me, is a medical show, right? It's all about the MASH unit from the Korean War. I mean, that works out. But any of those medical, some of those daytime soap operas also basically medical so there's a little bit of leadway. They're basically medical in theme. So your 5 favorite medical shows of all time for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. So the 10th NIL congressional hearing is set today for 9 o'clock Central Time. Jack Swarbrick from Notre Dame will be one of the witnesses. Charlie Baker, of course, from the NCAA. But also Walker Jones from Ole Miss will be one of the witnesses with his collective at Ole Miss. Jones outlines the collective's congressional requests. So this is what is going to be talked about and what Walker Jones will talk about specifically. That we stand ready to assist in rooting out the bad actors who seek to profit off children and student athletes. An agent registry should be a bare minimum requirement. We believe athletes should continue to have the right to monetize their NIL just like any other individual. The free market coupled with marketplace platforms provide the much-needed transparency to monitor growth while also providing necessary safeguards. A revenue-sharing plan would allow collegiate athletes to see the true value being produced for their respective institutions and conferences, which could also be used to increase enforcement and oversight of the marketplace, and some level of uniformity that creates a national standard as it relates to state NIL statutes and laws. Some have asked what we are against in this conversation. I would simply say that we would counsel senators to be leery of drafting federal legislation that places control over college athletes back into the hands of traditional powers. Any federal bill that arbitrarily limits student athletes' abilities to maintain complete control over their name, image, and likeness would do just that. Keep the politics out of it. Keep the Congress out of it. Obviously, it's a congressional hearing, but less red tape for those student athletes. That's what Walker and others will talk about, as they are obviously pro-NIL and pro-collectives, but certainly understand a national safeguard for all student athletes and, have somebody to be able to oversee everything when it relates to the state NIL statutes and laws. Makes a lot of sense. Whether or not they can come to some kind of conclusion, some kind of uniform rules when it comes to NIL, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think anything's going to be decided today, but against the 10th NIL congressional hearing. That'll do it for hour number 1. When we come back, it'll be a busy second hour. We'll start things off with Humdinger's Trivia. We'll take your calls and texts in that first segment at 901-360-8255. Then we'll turn our attention to the University of Memphis with Jeff Crane, University of Memphis Deputy AD. In hour 3, we'll be joined by Rhodes football coach Rich Duncan in studio. And then in studio, University of Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer for the Daily Memphian, Parth Upadhyay. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just 1 pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I could have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
If you want a deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, because we've got Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days still going strong. If you're looking to save up to $12,000 off a new ride, we Gossett covered. Right now, take your pick. 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit 4-wheel drive or 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. And 2023 Wagoneer L Series 111 4x4, $10,000 off MSRP. And if we don't have what you're looking for, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Wagoneer PS5 64,158, MSRP 117,430. Cherokee P88 76 88.9, MSRP 80,205. Gladiator PL 509 834, MSRP 68,815. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still heavy traffic right now, but it's moving on 385 Bill Morris Parkway coming in from Collierville on 385 there all the way to 240 now. It's busy as expected this time of the morning. 40 westbound. As you come past Canada Road, Chambers Chapel, continuing west on I-40 all the way up to Witten Road. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, they're back open better than ever. Go by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 edition. Thanks for tuning in. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their overstock sale is now going on. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. It is sunny, but it is cold. It's 46 degrees. Today we're looking at a partly cloudy day with a high of 71. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low near 50 degrees. A little bit later on in the hour, we'll talk University of Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane. We'll recap everything that happened last night in the world of professional sports. We got some news from the amateur ranks as well. But it is Tuesday, and it is time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That is right. It's an opportunity for somebody to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers over at Poplar and Massey. And, of course, when it's Tuesday, that means it's Taco Tuesday. at Humdinger's with their chicken and fish tacos, those delicious big old tacos, just $2 each and every Tuesday, all day long. Of course, beyond the tacos, so many other great things on the menu. HumdingersRestaurant.com. You can see the entire menu, all the different grilled fish options, the crispy fish and chips, the chicken dishes, the sandwiches, the salads, the great sides, the Humdinger shrimp, which is a popular dish. You can find it all at Humdinger's, again, at Poplar and Massey. If you are the first to answer today's question correctly, well, then you'll get that $25 gift certificate, and you can answer via text 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Text in those answers. First correct answer gets the $25 gift certificate. Here is the question. The Texas Rangers, with their win last night, or yesterday afternoon, over the Astros to go up 2-0 in the series, have now won their first 7 postseason games. Which team, and I don't need the year, which team holds the record for the most consecutive wins to start a postseason? Which team holds the record, Major League Baseball record, for most consecutive wins to open a postseason? 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Text in those answers, and the first correct answer gets that $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
You mentioned the Texas win. Rangers over the Astros 5-4 yesterday. They win 2 in Houston. Now the scene shifts to the Dallas area, Arlington to be exact. Game 3 tomorrow. Texas up 2-0 in that series. The National League Championship Series got underway last night in Philadelphia. The Phillies down the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-3, so they lead 1-0. Game 2 tonight in that series, that best-of-7 series. Monday Night Football, if you missed it, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Chargers 20-17 at SoFi in Southern California. Cowboys improved to 4-2. Chargers dropped to 2-3. Also some Memphis Tiger football news from yesterday afternoon. Andres Fox, the low blow man, has been suspended for the first half of the game at UAB Saturday, the Battle for the Bones. That was announced by the University of Memphis. It was a joint decision made with the American Conference and their officials as well to suspend Fox for the first half of the game. Also, the Memphis Tigers game against North Texas on October 28th announced yesterday that kickoff time will be 2 o'clock in Denton, Ohio. And if you missed yesterday's preseason college basketball AP Top 25 poll, Kansas, Duke, Purdue, Michigan State, Marquette, your top 5. Memphis received 7 votes but did not make the preseason top 25.
Brandon Haley of the Chargers, by the way, may want to start winning some games.
Brandon Staley?
Or Staley. I mean, he may want to start winning some games. They are, he's not a good start for him this year for job security purposes.
He's the guy that everybody pointed to as probably one of the guys that would not have their job at the end of the year unless, of course, they had a big year. So Staley was on the hot seat going into the season. He's making it only hotter.
Yeah, and one, they're not winning. 2, last night their defense played well, but generally their defense is bad, which is not good when you are also the defensive coordinator, and your defense has been bad the entire time you've been there as the head coach and defensive coordinator, and they've spent money on defense, and they've got, you look at the guys they've got on defense with Bosa and Mack and these guys, like that. There's no reason for that defense not to be really good. Not looking good for old Brandon.
No, but if you give up 20, you normally expect to win, right? 20 or less?
Well, again, last night they played well, but their defense, like going into last night, was the 32nd ranked pass defense in the league.
Right.
Like they give up that. Again, that's why the Cowboys offense should have been able to do a lot more than what they did last night. But their offensive line was terrible. But it's just it's not a good thing for him. I have a feeling unless this turns around, and in that division, when you're chasing the Chiefs to begin with, it's a little difficult.
Do you have any different opinion this week, now having seen the 49ers play like crap and lose to P.J. Walker in Cleveland and the Eagles go down to the Jets? Is it still San Francisco, Philadelphia, everybody else? How do you look at where we stand in the NFL after 6 weeks?
I mean, in the NFC, it's those. Certainly.
I'm just talking about. No, I'm talking about the NFL.
Well, I never thought it was just the Eagles and 49ers in the NFL.
Who else did you have?
Well, the Chiefs, the Dolphins. Like these teams are obviously elite.
Yeah, but most people were talking about. Yeah, certainly that they would have the opportunity, they would have the chance. But most people going into the week, it was San Francisco is head and shoulders above everybody, including Kansas City, including Buffalo, including Miami, including Philadelphia. Then it was Philadelphia, and then everybody else. I mean, I think that was the prevailing thought. Not that Miami and Kansas
I don't think
City.
Anybody put.
You don't think that San Francisco and Philadelphia won too?
No, I think
NFL?
I think people thought San Francisco looked like the best team, but I don't think anybody was putting Philadelphia ahead of Kansas City and like they're way better than Kansas City or Miami.
Well, they were all to an
Philadelphia
undefeated
gets
start.
Miami this week. And then I think they get the Cowboys the following week, if I'm not mistaken. So Philadelphia this is an interesting stretch for them.
Yeah, but they were off to an undefeated start. They look good. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl last year. Kansas City has been a little bit off their game to start the year. They got beat by Detroit to open the season. And then you had San Francisco that looked like world beaters. That's why it's so tough to bet on the NFL. Although, again, Brandon Lang last Friday told you folks, take Cleveland in the points. It was one of those deals where San Francisco, long flight to Cleveland. They know they're not going up against Deshaun Watson. They just took them lightly, and then you had the injuries with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. Both those injuries right now don't look to be serious. Brock Purdy loses his first game as a starter for the 49ers, but that was one where I don't know how serious San Francisco was to go in there and play the game that they're supposed to play to win a football game. Anytime you don't play up to your capability, you have a chance to lose a football game. And Cleveland's got a pretty good defense. So I don't know if you come out of that looking at San Francisco any differently, but there may be some. That's why I asked that question.
The Eagles Cowboys is 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks after the Dolphins. They got the Commanders in between. Well, the 49ers is all going to determine on those. It's determined by those injuries. Like if those guys are okay, healthy going forward. I mean, bottom line, I mean, everybody, the whole league is determined so much by injuries.
Sure.
But they have to have those two guys, especially McCaffrey. McCaffrey has got to be healthy when they get to the postseason. They put quite a workload on him. Can he stay healthy for the entire season and into the postseason? That's the question. But Deebo Samuel, I mean, those two guys completely changed that team. Brandon Ayuk's great, George Kittle's great, all that stuff, but they're not. Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey are what make that offense go. And then they've got a great defense with it. But it was funny, by the way, last night, too, the Cowboys try the damn tush push, and they get stopped. And it was funny, like Troy Aikman even said it right before. He's like, I think the Eagles, everybody acts like this is an unstoppable play. It's like, the Eagles are the only one that have it figured out. Nobody else can do it. And the Cowboys with Dak Prescott, big old quarterback, you would think that this would be simple. They can't do it. Like the Eagles are literally the only ones that do that successfully.
It's crazy how that is.
And they're like 90-something% when they do it. But no other teams are bad at it. Everybody just thinks it's just simple. You line up, you push the guy. It's real easy. Nobody else can figure it out other than the Eagles.
They did say last week at some time, maybe it was over the weekend, they are going to, as I thought they would, they are going to look at that as far as...
Well, they looked at it last offseason.
They are going to look at it again, is what they said, and I would bet dollars to donuts they end up outlawing that. However, if more teams try it and more teams are unsuccessful, maybe they won't do it. But it's all about the safety, right? They're always worried about the safety of the players, and that's understandable. So maybe that's the reason why I think, but I think that will be the reason that they, I think, eventually outlaw the tush push. By the way, speaking of the tush push and the Philadelphia Eagles and yesterday the Philadelphia Phillies, are we over the Kelsey brothers yet? Have we gotten our fair share of the Kelsey brothers? Are we tired of the Kelsey brothers yet? I just looked up as you were talking a second ago, and there they are in a Chunky Soup commercial. Yesterday, at the Phillies game, there are the Kelsey brothers. No Taylor Swift, but there are the Kelsey brothers. Are we officially sick of the Kelsey brothers? Or do we love them? Do we love the Kelsey brothers? Zach, do we love the Kelsey brothers?
I don't feel strongly either way about the Kelsey brothers. I'm
same
completely
here.
fine with them, whatever.
No big deal?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with them.
Okay, so you're not...
To me, with them showing up at a baseball game, it seemed like they were fans.
They're
just celebrities right now.
Well, Jason is an Eagle, so he's in Philadelphia, and Travis is in there rooting for the Phillies. The guy's in Kansas City. It's not that the Royals are in the postseason, but I guess wherever you are, you root for it. So like Taylor Swift, wherever she may go. ends up hooking up with that guy. That guy's a part of an organization. She's going to root for that organization. She's a Philly girl. But she's a Pennsylvania girl. She should be rooting for the Eagles, not the Chiefs.
But it's not like she's like, but it's not like Travis Kelce is like screaming and hollering because Bryce Harper got a single. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, he was fired up.
Yeah, but
drinking
how Taylor
beers
Swift
and
was just getting pumped up and excited that he got a first down.
No, I don't think he did that. Although they didn't have a camera on him all the time.
He's
or
not a
mic.
terrible sports fan like she is.
Yeah. Yay, home run!
No,
it's football.
The
Taylor.
lady they showed last night for the Chargers fan last
Yeah.
night. Did you see her
Oh,
losing
that
her
was-
mind? She reminded me of Taylor Swift. Only that reaction would have been after like a first down catch by Travis
right,
Kelce.
exactly. Okay,
that would have been a 4-yard completion, and she would have been doing that.
That woman's reaction seemed to be real, right? It wasn't manufactured. It seemed like it was real. The thing is, as soon as they showed that, I go, oh my gosh, I know what's going to happen. And then there goes my timeline on X.
Yep.
Every person posted that photo or photos of that woman. That woman is now famous.
She was hilarious. Like, she was losing her mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's on. Are the talk shows back on the air now that the writer's strike is over? Are they back? Because she'll be like on Jimmy Fallon tomorrow.
I don't
Or
know.
tonight. Well, I guarantee you that lady is going to get her 15 minutes of fame. So
She probably won't be on Fallon because she's in L.A.
not Fallon. I meant Kimmel. That's what I meant, Jimmy Kimmel. So, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, I could see him find out who she is, pluck her out of the audience. Say, hey, listen, they want to talk to you about coming on Jimmy Kimmel's show. And then she'll be on.
It was like her nervous face was way better than her excited face after they got it. I thought the nervous face before the play was amazing. Like, I was like, this woman is into this. Like, this means something to her. Either she's got her life savings bet on this game, or she might be the biggest Chargers fan in the history of the world. Because, like, that was an intense, like, oh dear God, we have to do this.
In this day and age, probably the former. She probably bet the house. If you missed it earlier, 5 favorite things topic for tomorrow. Your 5 favorite medical shows of all time. Your 5 favorite television medical shows of all time. And yes, MASH is, while it's a comedy, is still a medical show. It's about the MASH unit during the Korean War. You can use MASH. All right, NBA. Grizzlies play their final preseason game on Friday in Milwaukee. The regular season begins a week from tomorrow. Preseason games still going on. Last night, Amani Bates had 16 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3 in 23 minutes. That's a guy who I think I like more than anybody out there. I don't know what it is. I just like him. I think Amani Bates is going to be a good NBA player. I don't know how much of a factor he'll be, especially this year, how much he'll play. But I just like his game. I think Amani Bates is going to be one of those guys where you look back at his season in Memphis. It did not work out well. Obviously, he played at Eastern Michigan before calling it a collegiate career and entering the NBA draft, gets drafted in the second round. Do you have any feelings that kind of equate to what I think about Amani Bates, that he could turn out to be a pretty good NBA player?
There's certainly a lot of talent. He wouldn't have been as highly rated as he was without talent. I think there is potential. I'm not expecting him to become some great NBA player. I think he will have an NBA career. I don't think he's going to be some big-time player, but I do think he'll be around the league for a while.
It's interesting with the former Tigers that are trying to make it in the NBA. Kendrick Davis was released by the Warriors, but that's one of those Exhibit 10 situations that he'll play for their G League team, the Golden State Warriors G League team. So you have that going with Kendrick Davis. He'll be playing and making money. James Wiseman, who's been in the NBA obviously for a while, another former Memphis Tiger, supposedly battling Marvin Bagley to be the backup to another former Tiger, Jalen Duren, in Detroit, that they won't keep both those guys. Is that what you're hearing as well?
I have my knowledge of the Pistons at this point is slim.
Well, it just seems like it's been on my timeline from people in the know that follow the NBA that it could come down to Wiseman or Bagley, and it will come down to the two, that one of them will be let go, and they will be the backup, primarily the backup to Jalen Duren in Detroit. So a lot of Tiger flair there. A guy who's from Memphis, didn't play Well, he did. He started his career at Memphis, and then he transferred to TCU. Damian Ball was released by the Lakers, but again, Exhibit 10, he's going to play. So these are guys that will probably end up coming through South Haven, playing against the Hustle during the season. Bunch of guys that have the ties to Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, that's, if they all, and with these Exhibit 10 contracts, that's one of the ways that the G League keeps guys here rather than overseas is gives you an opportunity to make more money than just your average G League contract.
Right.
So it's a way they've been able to keep some guys here. So, and I think most guys would rather stay here if they could. More of obviously a direct line to the NBA to try and get either a two-way deal or end up getting once 10-day contracts become available. Trying to get those a little easier than if you're overseas, but it's one of those things you got to look at what your options are of how much money you can make here versus what your options are to make money overseas. And nice to see that those guys are getting that opportunity here with those Exhibit 10 deals to make a little bit more money.
All right, one other thing, switching gears back to how we wrapped up hour number one. I was talking about the congressional hearing today that set to start at 9 a.m. Central Time, which is really the 10th NIL congressional hearing on, again, NIL, 10th NIL congressional hearing. It's amazing that they have met that many times. I know that they have met, and I talked about some of the participants today, including Jack Swarbrick. I got some comments there from Jack Swarbrick I'm going to bring in a moment, Notre Dame athletics director. I talked about the Walker Jones participation from Ole Miss, that he will be a part of this as well today. But Swarbrick, in written testimony, offers an alternative to employment because we could be going down that road with student athletes, that they become employees. And his suggestion is Congress pass legislation to permit athletes to negotiate with conferences over terms of participation. That's really interesting. He also says that college athletics is in a crisis right now. He said there are at least two alternatives to traditional collective bargaining approach. First is to authorize the NCAA to adopt rules and regulations reasonably related to producing an acceptable measure of competitive equity, such standards that govern the conduct of competition. Then the second is, admittedly more radical approach, would be to craft legislation articulating the rights of student athletes, including the right to negotiate with the conferences in which they compete over the terms and conditions of their athletic participation. Such an approach would protect the rights of student athletes while also preserving their essential status as students first. College athletics in crisis was what they're calling it. We'll see what happens today, again, as they meet one more time about the NIL.
We do have a correct answer in our Humdingers trivia. And Zach, I'm going to need a tiebreaker from you here.
Oh, lovely.
The question was, the Rangers have won their first 7 postseason games this year. Which team holds the record for the most consecutive wins to start a postseason? They are the 5th, by the way, to do 7 straight, including the Astros last year. But there's only one team that has gotten to 8 straight wins to open up the postseason. And it's not a team you would think of, and it wasn't that long ago. But in 2014, the Kansas City Royals made it all the way to the World Series undefeated. They won the wild card game, and they swept the Division Series, and then they swept the ALCS, and they were 8-0 going into the postseason before they lost Game 1 to the San Francisco Giants. The Kansas City Royals were the correct answer. We had 2 people that tied. So, Zach, let's go with Bagley or Wiseman?
Why? Why would you do this to me?
He said why. He said why. He committed to Wiseman.
Apparently, it's a decision being made, so we're gonna go with it.
Let's give it to Wiseman.
All right. We will contact the winner and let you know how to get your $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
I know not a bunch, but I know a few people around here that are Royals fans. Our friend Boris Tomaszuk, Don Wade, who's a terrific journalist. They're big Royals fans, so maybe one of them texted in. But I would think you'd have to look that up because there's no way that people would know that right off the top of their head. It's amazing. It was the Kansas City Royals.
They may have said it during the broadcast, which I don't know.
That's
very
always
well
a possibility.
said it during the broadcast. I'm not sure if they did or not.
Second hour of the program brought to you each and every day by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. The holidays are right around the corner. A lot of people will be getting engaged over the holidays. They'll be getting engaged, but you're also going to be looking for that special present for that special someone. So whether it be a beautiful watch, and they have watches of all types, all different kinds, including the Rolex watches. They have the pre-owned and they have the new, but they also have other companies as well. Go over there if you're looking for a watch. Believe me, the variety is incredible. But they also have bracelets and necklaces, gemstones of all types, custom-made jewelry, earrings, pendants, and so much more, plus the estate and vintage jewelry. So there's always going to be something there. Every time you go and you stop by James Gaddis Jewelers that you haven't seen, I mean, you can go a couple of days later and there'll be new jewelry there. They're always looking to add to their collection. They'll also buy your diamonds, your gold, and your silver. But if you're looking for that special engagement ring, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets, this is the place to go. Again, they're your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They're full-service jewelers with 2-bench jewelers ready to serve you. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know that there's a lot of competition, and there is, so they make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, your family, when you head there. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com.
The crazy thing is that the Royals that year lost the World Series. The next year came back and won the World Series. So 2014-15. Less than 10 years ago, the Kansas City Royals were in back-to-back World Series.
Yeah, they did. They did the old, almost Marlins-type fire sale. Once they got to the World Series and won a World Series, then they let all the high-priced players go, and they have been mired in less than mediocrity, let's say, since they won. But again, for fans, they'll take a World Series championship and then, let's say, 9 anemic years. Any sport, college football championship, college basketball championship, NBA title. You would definitely trade a championship, NBA title. Grizzlies fans, give me an NBA title. You could have 10 years of crap. That's the way I look at it. Maybe some of you don't, but to me, the ultimate is winning a championship. If you can get a championship, I'll settle for a bunch of bad years after that.
Their pitching rotation was really good. I'm just seeing some names on here. I was like, yeah, they all had like really good seasons.
Who were some of the guys that were on that team?
Jordano Ventura, Jason Vargas, James Shields.
James Big Game Shields.
Who was it? Who they had? They had Danny Duffy. He was really good that year.
Oh, they had like those teams. I mean, everybody was. And then they had like Ben Zobrist, who was really good, and then went to the Cubs, won the World Series.
And they could rake. They could rake. Everybody hit on that team. All right, when we come back, we're talking Memphis Athletics with Jeff Crane. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
We say all the time that above all else, Bell Tavern is Memphis's best little downtown bar. And we mean that. The food and service and atmosphere at Bell Tavern are all designed to make you feel at home. But above all else, you should know you're in a bar. And sometimes when you're in a bar, you might want something a little more special than the ice-cold beer that Bell Tavern offers. That's why there's the signature cocktails and the flights of spirits. Bourbon flights, whiskey flights, single malt scotch flights, agave flights, and even Japanese whiskey flights. All available at Bell Tavern, the bar that outbars all the other bars.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard from the University of Memphis football team. Is your credit card rewarding you for everyday purchases? Southern Security has the perfect low-interest reward card that will upgrade your wallet. Max rate is 18%, no annual fees, no cash advance fees. For more information, visit southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the bike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE $678,6055, MSRP $21,610, Nero P5017859, MSRP $41,090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP $49,687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A couple of accidents out here in the last few minutes. Right now, we're seeing heavy traffic over here on 40 westbound, coming past Sycamore View Road, getting up on that 240 flyover. Finally starting to build over here on Bill Morris Parkway, going westbound. There at Ridgeway, trying to hop on there to 240. Traffic still looks good coming up from the south. It's just heavy on 55 northbound up through DeSoto County, all the way in and through South Haven. Hey, don't miss it this year. I'm talking about Smoky Mountain Fall Festival going on at Ober-Gatlinburg. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:33 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Coming up in our final hour, Rich Duncan will join us from Rhodes and their terrific football coach. Another win for the Lynx. We'll talk to Rich in studio, and that'll be followed by Parthu Upadhyay, University of Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer from the Daily Memphian, as the Tigers are getting closer and closer to the start of their college basketball season. And yesterday, the top 25 poll came out. Memphis not in the top 25, but did receive votes. Anticipation is certainly there for what could be a very special year for both the men and the women in Alex Simmons' first year, who, by the way, will join us on the program tomorrow, bright and early at 7:25. But right now, it's time to talk Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers athletics. Joining Greg and Eli is University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director Jeff Crane. Here's Jeff with Greg and Eli.
It is always great to talk University of Memphis athletics with our friend Jeff Crane. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. The football gods, Jeff, sometimes they giveth and taketh away. They gave you guys some beautiful weather. It was a great crowd, a lot of hard work that went into it. The wrestling thing seemed like it went off without a hitch. And then, unfortunately, the football team unable to hold that lead and end up losing that game to Tulane. But other than that, which, of course, is the most important thing, it was a great crowd and a great night Friday at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Yeah, truly was. Obviously, we're all disappointed, nobody more so than those in the Billy J. Murphy complex, and disappointed in the outcome. But in terms of the things that we could control, we felt good about that. We couldn't control the weather, as you said, but it sure was nice. But great crowd, and our marketing group deserves a lot of credit. for working hard to get a lot of students there and a lot of new folks, as we talked about in the past with the wrestling event. We have a lot of people that come out that might only come to one game a year because they enjoy coming out and seeing the wrestlers. So great crowd, best of the year, and something we can certainly build on as the season goes on.
Well, nobody got thrown into the fountain during a match, did they?
Not that I was aware of.
Okay,
so I think everybody came out fairly unscathed on last Friday night.
2 more home games to go against SMU, which is a very formidable opponent in the conference, and then a South Florida team which is on the rise. But 2 of those 2 home games will come after these 2 road games. How important do you think it will be for this team, which right now still is in the hunt, it's still in the mix, that they take care of business on the road, therefore what will hopefully be very good crowds for those 2 home games before they end up on the road at the end of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. The next one in front of us is UAB, and the one that our program is focused on. And, I'll tell you that having been in the locker room at the end of that game on Friday night, there was nobody happy about that. In fact, when Coach Silverfield was done talking, a couple of guys gathered everybody back together and had some words, and that's what you need. You need that leadership, and we have that internal leadership in our football program, and I have no doubt that we'll get back on the winning ways very quickly, and that'll start in Birmingham on Saturday.
So, Jeff, for the people who had bought the ticket at the beginning of the year that they kept rolling over when they won home games, now that those tickets are done, do those people just buy regular tickets for the last 2 games if they want?
Yeah, great question. Yes, unfortunately, that rollover ticket is now expired due to that loss, but encourage those, and we'll be reaching out to all those folks, encouraging them to purchase single game tickets for the upcoming games, South Florida and SMU. So great promotion, and they got their money's worth plus some on that one, and hopefully that's something we can continue.
For those that are thinking about going down to Birmingham this week and haven't made up their minds, but now they're going to look into tickets, is it still better to go through you guys, or how does that work?
Yeah, we've been in communication with the folks at UAB, and there are some tickets still available. So I encourage Tiger fans to make the trip to Birmingham, certainly on Saturday, and you can almost do it in a day. It'd be a long day, but you could actually make it happen with it being an 11 o'clock game. And best to go to UAB's website and purchase the tickets there. In this day and age of digital ticketing, it's rare now that the visiting schools are even selling tickets because it's just become so easy to do that on each school's website. So encourage folks to come out and support the program in Birmingham.
There were some very important people at the game on Friday night. We talked about wrestling. The great Jerry Lawler was there, and he let the players out of the locker room, and that was fun to see Jerry, certainly on the mend from his stroke, and I had a chance to go over and say hi to him. He's just a Memphis icon. But also, Paul Young was there, the new mayor of Memphis, who will take over, I guess, in early January. And you guys had a chance to entertain Paul, his family. I also had a chance to speak to him. Just delightful man, his wife, his kids, lovely kids. How did that go? Because obviously Paul, in his administration, are going to be extremely important as the transition is made from Mayor Strickland and his team to Paul Young and his team when it comes to the whole stadium issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say when Dr. Hargrave reached out to Mr. Young and invited him to the game, didn't hesitate to take us up on that opportunity, and reinforced then and continues to the importance of the University of Memphis to this city. He certainly knows that, living here as many years as he has, and now we're excited to build that relationship with him, much as we have with Mayor Strickland and his administration, and we'll continue to do that and remain optimistic that solutions will be found that can accommodate everyone can accommodate the needs of Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, and FedEx Forum. That remains the goal, and we're confident that we'll get there.
So there was the unfortunate incident that happened in the game the other night. When that happens, when it comes to a suspension like that is not it's not like targeting where you know automatically what it is. How does that process work between you guys and the league?
Yeah. What we do is the conference reaches out to us. In this case, that was on the day after the game, Saturday, and we have a conversation and talk about what they saw and what they feel, and we give them our opinion on it as well. Obviously, Coach Silverfield has a voice in that conversation as well, and then we try to find a solution that all can be comfortable with, and that's where we landed. Those are very much a joint decision that are made between the conference and the school, and unfortunate situation, but those things happen, and obviously we're disappointed that it did, and hope that it doesn't in the future. But moving past that, and looking toward UAB this weekend.
Yeah, look, it was a bad decision by that young man, and hopefully he learns from what he did. But I really like, and I would have to imagine you guys too, like the way Ryan Silverfield did not hesitate one bit as talking about we can't have this in this program and things of that nature, certainly going up to Coach Fritz after the game, apologizing publicly in front of the media. I mean, he knew, you knew right away how he felt about what happened, and there was no hesitation whatsoever. You could have coaches sometimes that'll say, well, we got to look at the tape, we got to see what happened, we got to do this, we got to do that. There was no hesitation from your head coach.
No, not at all. And that's the sort of person that Ryan Silverfield is. One of the many things that was attractive in hiring him 4 years ago was the type of person that he is, and he's going to do it the right way. There's no question about it. He is very committed and convicted to do that, to do everything the right way. So we're proud of that, and continue to look toward the future and more winning ways and less conversations with the conference on days after games.
All right, so basketball is right around the corner. You got preseason games coming up. You got the regular season starting in early November. There's a lot of excitement. There's also still this cloud that continues to hover above about the whole DeAndre Williams deal and whether or not he will be granted this extra year of eligibility, this appeal that continues. Again, you're at the mercy. It must be tough for any university because you are basically at the mercy, as I said, of the NCAA to announce a decision on their timeline, not on your timeline. So you sit here not knowing whether or not this guy is going to be able to join. I mean, is there a deadline for that? I mean, here we are. It's October 17th, for goodness sakes. It seems like it's impossible that you would be able to add a player at this time.
You know, if there's one thing we've learned how to be patient as it relates to the NCAA.
To everything.
There are no deadlines. There are no timelines. It's just about patience. So we're putting our best foot forward there and fighting in the appropriate ways to get DeAndre onto our roster. Also in this day and age in college athletics, it seems like rosters are changing daily at times. And so, while it's unconventional for those of us that have been doing this a while, young people can easily assimilate, jump in, and be ready to go. So we're hopeful that opportunity will be there for DeAndre and putting our best foot forward there and hoping for some answers, obviously, before our first exhibition game. But the time is ticking, and just a couple weeks away from that. So we're just in a wait-and-see mode.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about him getting acclimated back to playing basketball because I'm sure he's been playing a lot of basketball and he's familiar with at least some of the guys. A lot of those guys are new, so it would take a little bit of chemistry to find, that that camaraderie with them all. But I'm more concerned with the school, right? I assume he's taking online classes right now?
Yeah, I actually do not know the answer to that question. I don't know what his academic status is currently, but
right.
It's.
But he would have to be, right? He wouldn't be eligible.
You would expect. Yeah, you would expect that is the case. I just am not informed as it relates to that. But there's as we've talked about so many times over the years. There's so much change. There's so many factors that go into all of these decisions that to a certain extent we have to do the best we can, put our best foot forward, and let the chips fall where they may. We don't try to linger on a lot of these sort of issues, because you can really get tied up in that and lose focus on the big picture. Mm-hmm. We continue to press forward and hope for the best that DeAndre will be with us.
Anything else before we let you go?
No, but big week here for our program, because we've got our women's soccer program back home on Thursday night versus UAB. They're ranked as high as number 3 in the country in one poll. Wow. So lots of excitement, lots of soccer this weekend on campus, and encourage folks to come out. They can check out that schedule at GoTigersGo.com, and free entrance for all of our soccer games. So look forward to seeing everybody there.
A big week for Memphis versus UAB.
Did you ever find out how many programs have been ranked in the top 5?
We couldn't find one. Find one.
Really?
So we've now got one in the top 5 with our women's soccer program. So lots of excitement. 12-1. So really great season. Still have a few games left, and hoping we'll be hosting some postseason here in Memphis for women's soccer.
Right.
And maybe even men, too.
He is Jeff Crane, University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75 and catch him every Tuesday talking Memphis athletics right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks so much, guys. Go
Take
Tigers,
care.
go.
Good stuff, as always, from Jeff Crane. Good stuff at the Crazy Coop. If you're looking for the best hot wings in town, head on over to the Crazy Coop with 2 locations. They have the Crazy Coop Express down the road from us. It's at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar, and the original at 7199 Highway 64. It's between Appling and Kirby Whitten, I guess technically in Bartlett. If you're looking for good hot wings, really it's all about the flavors, right? It's all about the sauces, the seasoning, and at the Crazy Coop, they have 27 different flavors to choose from. Amazing seasonings that make the chicken wing, like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick to it, the mango habanero, the sweet taste of mango followed by the heat, or the sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. Whether it be their whole wings or party wings or boneless wings, they're out of this world at the Crazy Coop. You can also get those big old chicken tenders at the Bartlett Restaurant. They got the full menu, which includes catfish sandwiches, juicy half-pound hamburgers, and all the great sides like the fried okra, the green tomatoes, and the fried dill pickles. They will cater any type of event you got coming up. Just give them a call, tell them what you want, and they will do that for you. Of course, you could take out, just order online, pick up yourself, or have DoorDash or any of the other services deliver that great food for lunch or for dinner. Crazy Packs are available as well. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Find them on Instagram and Facebook. It's the Crazy Coop. They're located at 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I have not heard anyone come up with something that makes a lot of sense for what to do for the future with the NIL. There's a lot of people that have opinions, but nobody really has come up, in my opinion, with something concrete. I just mentioned a couple of the things that Jack Swarbrick will be talking about today at the Senate Judiciary Committee NIL hearings. Interesting panel of people that will be speaking. Mentioned that Walker Jones, who's the executive director of the Grove Collective, who's from Collierville, lives in Collierville. Of course, he's with Ole Miss, Walker Jones. We know him well. Ramaji Huma, who's been on the show, executive director of the National College Players Association. He'll be speaking. Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA. Be interesting to hear what Charlie Baker has to say. And Tony Bettini, who I completely forgot is the commissioner of the Big Ten. Jack Swarbrick mentioned he will be also one of the people speaking today. And Trinity Thomas, a gymnast from the University of Florida. Don't know Trinity Thomas. I have a feeling that maybe she's got an incredible following. One of those athletes that's really big on social media and has a good NIL. Have a feeling that may be the case. I'll just be, very interested if anything comes out of it, anything concrete. But I haven't really heard anything solid that I go, yes, that's what they need to do to make sure that, I don't think it's possible to have an equal playing field, but you give every student athlete that equal opportunity. But then where do things go in the future? Do they become employees? Do they pay taxes? Do they have bargaining? Do they have a union?
Well, they pay taxes now on this stuff.
But if they're an employee, is it a whole different ballgame? And then paying taxes as an employee? I don't know. We'll see. Again, what comes out of today is not going to be the answer. It's not going to be something concrete, but there'll be a lot of ideas that'll be shared. Check this out. This is an incredible stat. Phillies, Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper. They have combined for 8 home runs in their last 3 games. That's the most by any duo in a 3-game span within a postseason. All time. Baseball goes back to 1492. Columbus was terrific. He was a great shortstop. Other duos at 7 include Nick Castellanos, Trey Turner in 2023. So the same guys on the same team. And then the other one at 7, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. You may have heard of them back in 1928.
They were pretty good.
They were pretty good. All the talk was what the Braves did with the home runs during the regular season, which they did. But it's the Phillies in the postseason that's hitting the long ball. The Braves went empty for the most part, but the Phillies have been hitting home runs at this incredible pace. Will it continue? I don't know. But right now you have a lot of guys out there on that Phillies roster who are clicking at the right time. And there's guys that are playing in that Phillies lineup that aren't, that are slumped, that are in a big slump. Alec Bone's hitting about 170, 160 right now. So he's not hitting. Bohm is not hitting the way he should. Couple of other guys as well. Real Muto is okay, but not the kind of hitter that he can be. So they're a very dangerous team. But Arizona has been consistently good all year long. And even though Philly has taken a 1-0 lead, there are no guarantees. Game 2 tonight in Philadelphia. And again, Houston and Texas. The Rangers, undefeated in the postseason to this point. But they go back to Houston, or they go to Texas. You would think big advantage for the Rangers. Not so fast, my friends. The Astros, as we talked about earlier, a great road team, and they clobbered the Rangers in a 3-game sweep late in the regular season. So even though the Astros are down 2-0, this one is far from over as well. Should be a lot of fun. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Just waiting for a comment. All right, 2 hours in the books. Hour number 3, we will be busy. Rich Duncan will join us in studio for our road segment. That'll be followed by Parth Upadhyay, University of Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer from the Daily Memphian. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase. All 36-month leases and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P501 7859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P501 7859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still wrapping up a couple of earlier wrecks. One on Mississippi Boulevard at McLemore Avenue. Also Austin P Highway at Lakehurst Drive. They're trying to clear that one up as quick as they can. Still a little bit of volume over here on 40 westbound as you come past Sycamore View Road, getting on that 240 flyover. Some of that traffic is still getting off there onto Sam Cooper. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's why we're talking.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 the time. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their overstock sale is underway. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently sunny and 49 degrees. It will warm up to 71 today under partly cloudy skies. And then tonight we're looking at a partly cloudy evening, low near 50 degrees. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high of 68. Time to talk some Rhodes athletics.
It's time to go inside Rhodes College Athletics on Sports 56 mornings. Every week, a representative from Rhodes will join Greg and Eli to talk about all things Lynx. Let's go inside Rhodes Athletics now on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Joined once again in studio by the head football coach at Rhodes College, Rich Duncan, who you can follow on Twitter at Coach Rich Duncan. The Lynx have made it 3 straight wins. They beat Sewanee 30-10 to improve to 5-2. Coach, 3 straight wins on a roll. Congratulations. How are you?
Doing awesome, Greg and Eli. I appreciate you having me on.
Looked like a really solid all-around game. Looking at the numbers that I've been from an offensive standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, we'll talk about a standout player that was honored by the league. But overall, I would imagine you're pretty happy.
Yeah, I thought we played a pretty good football game. The first half was a little bit choppy, and the time of possession was 19-11 in their favor at halftime, and we were able to go win that in the second half. We put some, a 12 and a 13 play or a 13 and a 14 play drive together, and really took control of the game in the second half and in all 3 phases.
The second half you shut them out, right? They did not score in the second half, so that certainly is good. So the last 3 games, I believe that's 98-24. You've outscored your opponents. That's pretty good.
I would take that. Most weeks I'd take that.
Because you've scored at least 30 in all 3 games. So what is it? How do you feel like? Obviously, your offense is rolling right now. What has it been that's come together?
Yeah, we've just got a lot of balance. When you look, we're almost dead even run, pass balance, yards, big plays. So we're tough to defend right now. I don't know that we have a superstar, but we've got a lot of guys. We're playing 2 quarterbacks. We're playing a couple running backs. Every game 6 or 7 receivers are getting catches, and we're distributing the ball really, really well and playing really unselfishly on offense.
Can you win football games consistently being one-dimensional? In other words, the running game's not really working well, but you're passing well, or vice versa?
I don't know. I think that style of play. When you look at the Naval, the academies, right? They've been a run first. There's a program in Division III, Washington and Lee, up in Virginia that runs the ball for 400 yards a game. Very seldom throws it. Springfield in Massachusetts still runs a triple option. They're the same way, but it's not who I am. But there's certainly people that have had success on it. We've always tried to maintain balance.
The most coaches do not want to do the 2 quarterback system. You have continued to do that, and why does it work for you?
It's a great question. I was just talking about this with one of our guys. Not only have I done it here at Rhodes, but I've done it in my past, and it's never intentional. I don't think any coach wants to go in and say, "Hey, let's play with 2 quarterbacks." But we have quarterbacks that are ready to play, and my philosophy has always been, a good friend of mine was a high school basketball coach, and he posed a question to me when I was younger, offensive coordinator, and said, hey, we always play my backup point guard in meaningful minutes. I don't know why you football coaches can't ever play the backup quarterback, and then, your starter gets hurt and everybody panics. And, I thought it was a great point. And, we used to not play 2 quarterbacks, but I would play the backup quarterback a couple possessions in the game where it was meaningful minutes to get him ready to play, and then it's just developed. We're very fortunate. We've got a really good, talented, exceptionally talented quarterback room, and those 2 guys are leading the charge.
Well, Evan Reeder went 4 of 8 throwing the ball, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of production from 8 attempts. He also ran the ball 5 times for 23 yards, and if you may recall, folks, listening to these segments, that Reeder had taken over for Wilhelm when he got hurt. So there were a couple of games you didn't have Houston, but he had Houston back in this game. He goes 11 of 16 for 111 and a touchdown. So combined, 15 of 24, 207, 3 touchdown passes. You'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, it's great when there's obviously competition, right? Both guys want to be the starter. Both guys want to play full time, but they also do a great job of helping one another, and they're each other's biggest fan. And when you put the numbers together, they're pretty dang good, and happy for them.
And certainly making that point about any other like basketball or whatever, it certainly makes sense to not just use your backup quarterback in mop up duty when they're not out there with other starters. So is there a do you have to have that conversation with both of them? Like, how does that go to try and because everybody wants to be the starter. They want to be, I'm QB1. How do you kind of have that conversation with them and say, listen, both you guys are going to play. You're going to get meaningful minutes. We need both of you.
Yep. We just try to handle it like any other position. I know that sounds crazy. But, I'll be honest, if we're rotating at right guard, nobody in the stands has any idea we're doing it.
That's right. Nor do broadcasters most of the time.
You're right. But, no, I think they have to check their ego at the door. The conversation we have is, hey, this is about what we're doing and not one guy. And you have to be able to fit in that system. I think it goes back to your recruiting and building relationships and guys trusting you to coach them, that you're doing the best thing, not only for the football team, but the best thing for them too. And it's worked out in my favor so far.
From a running back standpoint, Robert Daniel, another really strong game, 24 totes. He goes for 125 yards. Elijah Bain chipped in with 51. So as you said, you get the passing game, you got the running game. Very good right now with everything clicking on offense.
Yeah, I think it really goes back to our offensive line is really coming along. I've talked, we're in the interior three, we're freshman, sophomore, freshman. And those guys have really come along in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Coach Antonio Brown, our offensive line coach, has just done an unbelievable job with that group. And, Colin Seymour, I talked about him a little bit last week, but he's just been a great senior leader for us. And, that group went from maybe a liability to right now they're a strength.
How good are the fundamentals of linemen, offensive linemen, when they come from high school? How much do you have to teach them, or how much do they know? And I would imagine it varies depending on what program you come from.
Yeah, I think you recruit guys that have been well coached. I think that's number one. What I always look for, my background's in offensive line play. I look for guys that are fundamentally and technically sound. Certainly there's a developmental phase that goes on in college football. You get more time with them and you get more opportunity to develop them. But, the guys we have right now come out of really good programs. One's out of Hoover in Alabama. One's from down in Louisiana, a really nice program. And then we've got a kid from Peabody here locally that was exceptionally well coached in high school. I mean, they did a great job with him. He's a really nice football player.
When you're talking 2 freshman starters on the offensive line, I would assume that's very rare. Have you ever had 2 starters of freshmen on the offensive line?
Yeah, well, I coached the startup team once. We had 5, and that was tough. But traditionally, no. Typically, if you have 1, that's a pretty big deal. And we actually have 3 playing because our backup center plays some, and he's a freshman as well. So, 3 of those guys are playing as freshmen, and we think there's a couple more that are going to be ready to come on pretty soon.
Well, you hold Sewanee to 10 points. That defense came through once again, and a big game for Thomas Conroy. Talk about his accolades.
Thomas has had an unbelievable year. He was a backup a year ago. We had 2 first-team all-conference defensive ends. Thomas is actually in the ROTC program and doesn't say a whole lot. He just comes to work. His family's career military, and he's had a pretty special year. And, Saturday, had 2 sacks and another tackle for loss, had 8 tackles as a defensive end. That's a pretty good day. And but he's been pretty consistent all year long.
And he was named the SAA Defensive Player of the Week.
He was. It was the first time we had a player honored this year, and I'm really glad it was Thomas. There's some backstory that, Thomas's mom passed away right before the season began. Yeah. And, he's played really, really, really well, and I'm really happy and proud of him.
So you get Hendrix College this week, playing at War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock. That's cool.
Yeah, we went over there last year and got beat 6-0. We played a stinker. So we're hoping to get back over there and hope we play better. But War Memorial's a great venue. They've remodeled the locker rooms, and the stadium's in pretty good shape, and the turf's in good shape. And during the COVID pandemic, our conference, we played there as kind of a conference championship, East-West, because of the way we had to set our schedule. And I thought it was a great venue then. We've been able to do it the last 2 years, so it's been a lot of fun. And this is a big game for us. It's a big game for Hendrix, too.
It's not like they got 60,000 people in there, but playing in a stadium where the Razorbacks have played in, and there's been big games, it's historic. Do the players buy into that, or is just a venue to them?
I think they buy into it. It's a big time feel. You come running out of the tunnel, and you're right. There's not 60,000 people that fill it up. They fill the they pack up the lower bowl and they do it on one side so that it feels like the crowd's pretty strong. But It's a cool venue for the kids. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
They've enjoyed playing there. It has a different feel to it. The stadium is right up against you. There's no sideline. The crowd's on top of you. And the sound system is booming in there.
What kind of team is Hendricks?
They're 2-4 right now. Their quarterback leads the nation in passing. So we've got our work cut out for us. He has thrown for over 2,200 yards in I believe 6 games and played really, really well. So, they've had some tough luck losses and they've had some close wins.
So when a team gets into a groove like you're in, I mean, everything's going well. I don't know if you're half full, half empty. What type of coach do you worry about? Oh, here comes complacency. Maybe these guys will start to believe their press clippings a little bit too much. Hey, that we're better than we are, and they got to focus here because you can't take anything for granted.
Greg, we talked way back in the beginning about this. We have a process that, people talk about, the process and all these other things, but we genuinely, I think, have a system in place where. And I'm a half-full guy. Our routine's going to be the same. We're going to do the same things. We're going to prepare. When the game's over, we're going to move to the next one. You try to be 1-0. There's a lot of cliches that coaches throw out there. But, I don't believe as a coach you let your team become complacent because you set a standard. You ask them to practice a certain way. You ask them to play a certain way. Sometimes they don't always believe you when you talk about opponents because they're 18-22. But typically you find out pretty quick in the game. Going last week, I think Swanee is much improved. I know we had a good win, but it was 10-7 or something at half, 14-10 at half. And, I walked into the locker room at halftime and I just told the kids, hey, man, I told you coming in this team was going to be a much improved football team. And they kind of looked at me like it finally was affirmed. It took all week. But, I think that's part of growing up and life lessons. But I'm a half-full guy to answer your question, Greg.
You guys have the weird schedule where your bye week doesn't come till just before your last game of the year. I guess now that you got things rolling, maybe it's good that you don't have bye week doesn't come for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, I was worried where the bye week was. Nobody likes bye week in week 10. But we're playing, like you said, we're playing well. When you're playing well, you don't want to bye. You want to keep playing. And, that's the real positive right now is we found our groove and we're playing good football.
That's horrible to have a bye week in week 10.
It is. It is.
I don't even understand the point of that. So, again, you're sitting here at 5-2. As we just talked about, you got Hendricks. And then after Hendricks is who?
Birmingham Southern.
Birmingham Southern. We know you end with Barry.
Yep.
Barry, a really, really good program. But 5-2 through 7, is this where you expected to be? Where did you expect to be at this point? Preseason.
We were 500 a year ago, and I thought we were going to have a little bit better football team. We lost some really effective fifth-year seniors off of last year's team, 2 all-conference DNs, and we graduated 6 offensive linemen, so I knew there were some guys to replace. But I felt like we had a football team that was probably a 6-7 win type of football team. Maybe a little bit better if we overachieve. And, we let one get away earlier in the year in triple overtime. And, that one's probably going to eat at me for the whole offseason because I felt like we were the better team that day. We legitimately could be sitting at 6-1 with an opportunity to play ourselves into the conference championship race if we could knock Barry off at the end of the year. But, that is what it is. You just go play. And, I thought we were a 6-7 win type of football team coming into the year.
What's interesting here before we let you go, right now the congressional hearings have begun on the NIL, another round of hearings. And this is just coming down now. This is from Ross Dellinger. It says, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican, South Carolina, quote, Utah is offering everybody on the team a new truck. There is no end to this. Between the portal and NIL, college football is in absolute chaos. You're Division III. It's a whole different ballgame. When you look at Division I from afar, do you see chaos? What do you see with football? What do you see with name, image, and likeness? And could you imagine if you had that kind of money to offer players trucks? You might have guys from D1 that want to play D3 to get the truck, for goodness sakes. Where are we with football?
You know, it's an interesting time. I think the NCAA took the wrong road at a couple, 3, 4 different turns. And, you know, with the amount of money that's involved in the television game, not paying players and paying coaches $9, $11 million a year, it's not right. And, you know, I'm obviously not making that kind of money in small college football, and I think we're pretty pure. But, you know, it's a tough. They've opened up a can of worms. It's going to be really. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak. And I don't know that they have a very good system right now. There's a lot of money generated by major college football, and none of it really is going to the players. And they are the product. If they're not on the field. You know, I hear people say, "Well, we'll just put somebody else in Alabama's crimson." I don't know that that's true. If they're not, if they can't play,
right? It's not Alabama football if they can't play, right?
Yep. And I think it's a really interesting time in what's going to happen in the NCAA with particularly the Power 5 schools, and they want some autonomy. And you know, now we've got Congress involved in what college athletics is. I mean, it's just not a good time with where we're at right now.
You're at a different level as far as your Division III versus Division I. But even when you started coaching, like, could you have imagined what coaches' salaries were going to become at that level?
You know, it's really funny. A good friend of mine was the offensive line coach at Ohio State when I started coaching. You know, he made 6 figures, but he made low 6 figures, $100,000, $110,000 as the offensive line coach at Ohio State back in the early 90s. And now you look, offensive line coaches are making $1 million plus, you know, 30 years later. And the money has just exploded. And there's a book that was written back, I don't know, in the 1980s, and it started talking about, you know, college athletics taking corporate money and how that was going to affect it. And I've got a degree in sociology. It happened to be a book I read while I was in college. And I think a lot of that has lived true. You know, we've had this arms race, and we've all tried to raise a bunch of corporate money at the bigger levels, and it's created a real monstrosity.
Yeah. Good stuff, Coach. Really appreciate it. So, again, this week it will be at War Memorial in Little Rock as Rhodes will take on Hendricks. The Lynx now 5-2 after beating Sewanee 30-10. He is Coach Rich Duncan, the head football coach at Rhodes. You can follow him on Twitter at Coach Rich Duncan. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate you guys.
We will talk to you next week. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, different plans and options to choose from. You can go 6, 12, even 18 months, same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company, or they'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof fixed or to get that new roof. Pinnacle does residential and commercial roofing, so business owners and property managers, along with homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. And all their work, satisfaction guaranteed, including work around the house, like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding. They can install shingles, rotten wood repair, whatever you can't do yourself. Call the experts at Pinnacle. Quality work at a very reasonable price. Locally owned and operated, Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon today. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. That's 901-438-5084. or online at newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, we're talking Memphis Tigers basketball with Memphis Tigers basketball beat writer from the Daily Memphian, Parth Upadhyay. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute.
Well, it's just about that time. The college basketball season ready to begin. It's been a long off-season, but a busy off-season for Partha Upajai, who joins us now in studio, University of Memphis Tigers men's basketball beat writer for the Daily Memphian. Parth, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. You can feel it in the air. Like you just said, you can feel it coming, and it's exciting.
Well, and as I said, it's been busy for you because there's never a dull moment. There's always a story going on. Of course, you went with the team to the DR, so It's been a busy summer, now fall for you. And I know that this past Saturday they had an open practice, and Penny had his first ever coaches clinic. We'll talk about that in a second. But the top 25 poll, preseason poll, came out. Memphis got some votes, some points, and including a point from you. They did not crack the top 25. That was not expected, I don't believe. But what were your thoughts overall of the poll? Florida Atlantic, very high, coming off the great year. And Memphis, I guess if you stretched it out, would be about 37th.
37th, yeah. And I think you're right. Like, I didn't expect Memphis to be voted in the top 25, with a brand new team, even with all the talent, right? Lack of continuity, getting all these pieces to fit. I'm sure national media voters on that AP panel were probably, kind of skeptical if that would happen or not. But to be, 37th, I thought that was a little bit shocking, right? To be 12 spots out of that top 25, that surprised me at least. As far as FAU, I had the Owls 6th in my ballot, just coming off a Final Four run. No matter, how it happened or how you view that and bringing your entire team back aside from one player, I think, they've certainly earned that, right, to be in the top 10.
Yeah, Eli and I had a discussion earlier.
See,
I think so, but...
See, to me, it's the North Carolina thing of last year. Like, just because they went to the Final Four, they were still a 9 seed. I don't think just returning if they lose to Memphis, I'm not even sure if they're in the top 25. And so if they don't get that back, if Memphis doesn't screw up the end of the game, let's be honest, Florida Atlantic might not be a top 25 team. Now we're putting them in the top 10 because they did make that and they got a hot run. I will be shocked if Florida Atlantic ends up in the top 10 this year.
No, I think it's like a benefit of the doubt thing, right? It's like saying, hey, Dusty May and the Owls, you guys did this. The metrics kind of check out. They're not like, if you look at Ken Palm, where they finished last year, they weren't some kind of bottom feeder, right? Of course, they weren't, like you alluded to, they weren't some kind of world beater either. They weren't a top 10, top 5 team metrically. But, they did make it to the Final Four. No matter how it happened, you're bringing all your guys back. It's like saying, here, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Now go prove it.
Yeah, with Memphis, too, and I look, I understand most of those voters not giving them any love, and you put them at 25th. It wasn't like you put them at 10th.
No.
But it's because there's too many unknowns. The parts look great. Putting those parts together, what kind of motor will it produce? I mean, that's the big question. Will there be continuity? Will there be cohesiveness? When it's all said and done, are we going to have players at each other's throats because one expects more shots and the other one is not
playing
getting
time or
those?
whatever? Exactly.
So I hope, and everybody hopes, that there is that understanding of team over I, of individual. What have you seen so far, and especially from this last open practice, as far as the players themselves, the individuals? What are you seeing from this team?
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of guys, like we've talked about before, that can create their own shot, that can initiate offense for others as well. They were going through some half-court offensive sets, during that open practice period on Saturday, and you just see, even when things break down, right, even when there's a miscommunication or guys don't get to the right spots, like Memphis has enough dudes, whether it be David Jones, Jaquan Walton, Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, that can kind of say, screw it, I'm going to get the shot off anyway, right, and create their own offense, create their own bucket there. So I think that is something I've seen. I've seen a willingness to obviously pass and facilitate and make the right play. Of course, in practice it's going to be different than, come the season. So
Sure.
we have to see if that translates, right, that enthusiasm to play for one another and to play for, this common goal versus saying, hey, I was option A or option B at my previous school. I need to be that here as well, right?
If DeAndre Williams had been ruled eligible at this point, would you have voted them higher?
Absolutely.
How high do you think you would have gone?
I think I wouldn't have vaulted them into the top 10 or anything, right? Because it's still like, you kind of got to go out and prove it with, even with 3 guys back, whether that be DeAndre or anybody else. I think I'd probably have them around anywhere from 16 to 18, right? Like, so talking 7 or 9 spots higher than I have them now.
You would rather want him on the team than not have him on the team. But is there a worry now that if he is given the green light, that he hasn't had any practices with these new guys, which are basically, it's a whole new team, that there could be some issues as far as chemistry?
I mean, yeah, I think so. That's a natural worry, right? Even with a veteran player like DeAndre, who's been there, done that in Penny's system, he hasn't been there with these guys, like you just said. He wasn't on the DR trip. He hasn't been there all summer. Now, which challenge would you rather have, right? Like playing without DeAndre and running this core out there, which is a good team, don't get me wrong, or adding DeAndre having this dark horse Elite Eight, maybe Final Four contender with some chemistry struggles early on. Obviously, you'd have the second one, right?
Absolutely.
What are, in your, from what you've heard or whatever, what are the chances he does get eligible?
It just seems like, the more days that pass, right, the closer we get to November 6th, is, when the season starts, obviously, the less likely it seems. A couple weeks ago, the way it was explained to me was, they put in their initial waiver request, which was denied. Then they put in an additional request, which was a request for reconsideration of that decision.
With new
right?
information.
With additional information, correct.
Right.
Which was also denied. And now they're adding more information to appeal. So now they're in the appeal stage, which is the third level of that, if that makes sense. They've gotten 2 no's. Now they're trying a third time.
Yeah, it would seem as though if you've been told no twice, you probably didn't find some new magic information that is going to make them change their mind.
I'm surprised you could appeal it twice. You would think you could appeal it one time, and then that's it. And it's over.
Well, yeah, it's I'm blanking on the names, the exact names for the levels of appeal, but the initial request obviously was a request to have the NCAA reconsider his eligibility status, right? Say, hey, this was a mistake that was made. We're going to grant him that season back that I believe it was the 18-19 season at that point, or 19-20.
Right.
And then the second level of that was, hey, a request for reconsideration of that decision. So it's kind of hard to follow. And now they're in the appeal stage, which the appeal stage, I think it's clear, obviously, to you, but to listeners, the appeal stage is the last option, right?
Yeah, the buck's got to stop somewhere.
Right. If this gets denied, then he's pretty much, done. His college career is
Have
over.
you been in contact with him?
I have not.
You have spoken, though, to his attorney or handler or whoever that guy is?
I have. Just kind of throughout this process, I've spoken to his attorney, Don Jackson, who's
He's a
been
character.
significantly more quiet. Definitely a character. And, as you know, he was super vocal with not only myself, but other local media here in Memphis kind of throughout this process.
Right.
But, in the past, I don't know, let's say month and a half, he's definitely quieted down. I don't know if that's a good sign, bad sign. Now with these details having been uncovered to me and to others, it seems like maybe there's some maybe some worry on his part, right? Which is why he's not out there.
Certainly some concern, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Is the new information that they keep adding, is that coming from him or is that from the university, like finding new information that's trying to support him?
Yeah, it's coming from him. So it's coming from stuff that Don Jackson is accumulating, with working with DeAndre and, his mentor and his mother and all that kind of stuff. And then they're passing that along to Memphis Athletics.
Because the university is the one that actually has to apply to the NCAA.
Exactly.
What do you got for me now, Don? All right, here we go. All right, let's just assume.
I thought they would have had all that information on the first one.
Exactly.
They're holding some magic stuff like, oh, they said no again. Throw that other one in there then. Oh, they said no again? Well, go get the last little batch, then we'll try it one more time.
Don's on the phone again. He's got more information. Let's just assume.
It worked with Tez Walker. I mean, you guys saw that.
I know.
That
is true.
Had 3 touchdowns against Miami this past week.
Although his situation, I still have no idea how they said no the first time.
Yeah, it should have never happened from the beginning.
Correct.
With DeAndre, I can understand why they did not grant him that originally. So, look, let's just assume for a second that, and I think it's a good assumption at this point, that they're not going to have him. This is still a very talented team that is capable of doing a lot of good things. But I just don't know what Penny is going to do as far as the rotation and things like that. Have you gotten a feel for what you think this team will look like when the season starts, as far as who the starters will be, how that rotation will work?
Yeah, it's tough to say exactly. I think Penny's talked about at the open practice of September, and even before that, his open-mindedness or his willingness to go maybe, 10 or 11 deep, at least early on in his rotation. How that would work, we gotta wait and see. I spoke to him again about that at Media Day, and he said that he kind of compared it to the season 2 years ago, right, where he played a bunch of guys that season with Amani Bates and Jalen Duren.
And got criticized
and it, quite frankly, didn't work. Obviously they had success later in the season when they kind of shortened that rotation and, picked guys.
And Bates was out.
Penny said this season it's different. He can sense that the buy-in is different. The willingness to sacrifice, right, is different with guys who are in their fifth, maybe sometimes, some of these guys in their sixth year of college basketball. So he feels confident enough to kind of roll that method out again, and that method obviously being playing, like I said, 10 or 11 guys, at least early on in the season. As far as the starting five, it's funny, I was thinking about this last night, but a couple weeks ago, or maybe even after the DR trip, you saw how well Jaquan Walton shot the ball and played down there, and you're thinking, okay, they can start Walton and start Jourdain at the 4, right, with David Jones being kind of a super sixth man, but David Jones has probably been the guy that's impressed me the most, right, in these past 2 open practices. From speaking to people in the program, that's been somebody who's been kind of the alpha dog, if you will, right, the guy that can do a little bit of everything, can score, can facilitate, can rebound, can defend at times 1 through 5, quite frankly. So now you're looking at, okay, maybe you go small, and you go Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, David Jones, Jaquan Walton, and Jordan Brown, and have a guy, Nick Jourdain, Jalen Young, those kind of guys be your first couple off the bench.
If last year was easy because you knew Kendrick Davis was the guy. Like at the end of a game, you need a shot, whatever, get the ball in his hands and let him do his thing. Who is that? Quinterly this year? Like when they need a bucket at the end of the game, is it going to Quinterly to make that decision?
Yeah, that's tough. I think to make that decision, absolutely. I think it is Javon Quinterly's team in terms of a leadership standpoint, kind of the coach on the floor, right, standpoint, a guy who's a veteran point guard and, been there, done that at the highest level. Will he be the guy that's taking that shot like Kendrick Davis was last year? I don't know. I don't think so. That kind of remains to be seen. And even Penny said, he told me at Media Day last Monday that he said it was a little bit early for him to know who that guy is going to be. There have been, he said 3 or 4 guys who have kind of been on a equal playing field, if you will, in terms of production and leadership and whatever he's looking for in that role. He's just waiting for 1 or 2 to separate themselves from the pack.
What is Brown's range? Is he basically a back to the bucket kind of guy? He's not stepping out like Jones obviously has that ability.
Absolutely not.
Right.
I don't think Jordan Brown's going to be taking very many threes. He's more of a throwback, back to the basket, half court offense. We need a bucket, throw it inside of the big man type of player, which is
But it's good hands and a soft touch, right?
Absolutely, and the footwork is impeccable, man.
Okay,
like you even saw it in the DR. Like the guy wasn't, let's face it, the guy wasn't in great shape, and Penny, said it to media down there in the DR, but. Man, the footwork was still crisp, right? And the touch was still soft.
You rattled off a moment ago basically 7 guys, which I completely agree with you in one form or another as far as the starters and a couple guys off the bench. That's 7, right?
And then you add Malcolm Dandridge and Jaden Hardaway.
I was just going to bring up Malco. He's playing Jaden. And we've seen Jaden improve over the now they're up to 9. Okay, he has talked, obviously it's his son, but he has talked glowingly about Ashton's ability to shoot threes.
And rightfully so. Ashton looks impressive as well.
So that's a guy who's going to get it. Now you're up to 10. I think Sharon Font's really good.
Absolutely. I think he's ready physically as well, which is the most important thing.
So that would be 11 guys right there. Now, who am I missing? Pierre?
Jonathan Pierre and J.J.
Taylor.
Right.
I'm not missing anybody else, right?
No, you're not.
Is that the way you're looking at it? Is maybe those are the 2 guys that may be on the outside looking in as far as playing time early, if he goes that deep, if he goes 11?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because, like we went through the list, what other guys have shown in practice and, kind of behind closed doors, if you will, behind the curtain. It's tough, though, right? Because even those 2 guys, you have to think that they're expecting to play. J.J. Taylor was a top 20 recruit at one point, in his high school career. Jonathan Pierre had, I can't even remember what the number was, but I think close to 100 Division I scholarship offers, including from Duke and from the big boys, right, from the Blue Bloods. So you've got to think those guys have been either told at one point or another in the recruitment that they're going to play or have a significant role, and now they may not. So I guess we'll have to see how that goes.
Was it? Not that it means anything. Was J.J. Taylor the preseason
that was odd, man. That was very odd.
Ashton wasn't on that list, but Sharon Font and J.J. Taylor were.
J.J. Taylor's named preseason newcomer of the year and he ends up not even playing hardly.
And Ashton's gonna. If I had to bet, Ashton's gonna play the most minutes of a freshman, right? Of those 3 freshmen this season. And it's funny to not see him on that list. You would think it'd be Ashton Hardaway and Carl Sharon Font if they're gonna do a Rookie of the Year.
Although when I was at the open practice, 2 open practices ago. I thought Taylor looked pretty good. Plus, has really good size. I didn't know he was
He's so long. Yeah, he's 6'7", 6'8".
Now, of course, Taylor equates to Mikey Williams. We know where we stand with Mikey Williams. That thing ain't happening. That ship has sailed. Was Penny asked about that at the open practice, and what did he say?
He was asked, I asked him if, he had spoken to Mikey after the preliminary hearing had ended, and, somebody else had asked what the timetable was, or if his new timetable, Mikey Williams' new timetable, impacted his status with the team. As far as speaking to Mike, he said the same thing he's always said. He said, hey, he spoke to him after the hearing and kind of told him to keep his head up and, keep working. So he kind of kept it vague there in terms of what that conversation entailed. And asked that second question about if this impacts anything with his status with the program, he said no. He said, the statement they put out is what they're standing by. Even though now, obviously, this thing's going to go to trial. His arraignment isn't until October 24th, which, as you know, is 5 days before the first preseason game. Well, it's not looking good.
No, I'm just thinking, is there a chance that maybe he plays next year? But, again, this guy might be going to jail. I mean,
they're talking about adding charges, man. Like the
right.
DA is talking about adding, not subtracting.
What is the deal with the rap lyrics or something that he threw out? And then some other rapper told him he shouldn't be doing this. What is that whole situation?
Yeah, I think, and he's been posting interesting stuff on his Instagram. I don't know if you guys follow him on social media or have seen what he's been doing.
Was he calling out the DA or something?
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a real smart move.
He's
I don't
calling
know.
out the DA?
Using Rilo Rodriguez, which is a popular rapper, using his lyrics. He posted a video of him recording his television, right? With the local news coverage of his case. And said something about, I can't remember. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but something that was insulting toward the DA, right, or toward the judge, or something like that.
Don't you have to just sever ties? I know the loyalty thing, and Penny is loyal to a fault, but don't you? When the guy starts doing those kind of things, just say, man, we wish we had you on the team. It would have been nice, but we got to move on.
But he's been doing it all summer. I don't know if you guys saw that post. I guess you don't follow him, so you may have not seen it. But he had a post either a month ago or 2 months ago where he was somewhere, looks like in California, and there was Simpsons characters, like stuffed animals or whatever, dressed as police, and he was pointing his finger gun, right, like a fake. He's doing gun motions. That like it's just been one thing after another in terms of these kind of.
Is everything with John Moran here, with guns, with real guns, but still, I mean, you can't be doing that stuff.
I saw that, like, something about the rap, and I didn't know. I was like, I don't know who this person is, this rapper, all this stuff. But I didn't know. I thought they said it was something about the DA and I was like, this is, like, that doesn't seem like a smart move. And, at some point to me, you're just like, hey, dude, you probably just need to get your life in order. Let's not worry about basketball.
Exactly. It's baffling.
And let's not worry about the University of Memphis.
He still hasn't taken that step back and humbled himself, at least from our perspective, what we can see from the outside looking in. Like, you would think, someone who's facing 6 felony gun charges would kind of be more apologetic, right? Perhaps publicly about his actions.
I'm not calling out after I've been told, yes, you are going to go to trial. You're going to be arraigned in a few weeks. Like, I'm not going to then call out the DA.
No, I'd probably say how great a guy the DA was. Talk about all his.
You talk about extra charges. Yeah, that's what happens when you start calling out the DA. They might find some extra charges to file against you.
Final thing for you. Yeah. We know that Penny will be suspended for the first 3 games. The assumption, at least on my part, is, well, you got Rick Stansbury now on this staff. The guy knows how to coach a game or two. But Penny has not, unless he did on Saturday, made up his mind yet whether it could be Faraji Phillips. It could be Andy Borman. But I would think it would be Stansbury running the show for those 3 games. What have you heard?
Yeah, when Penny was first made available after that punishment, if you will, dropped, it was, I think, a week or 2 before the team went to the DR in early August. He was asked about that, and he said it would probably be Rick Stansbury, but obviously at that point, late July, he hadn't made that decision. You've got to think, the clear-cut choice is Rick Stansbury, and I'm sure if I had to bet, that's who they're going to go with. He hasn't said anything kind of definitively yet, no.
Yeah, and look, whatever they have been doing as far as the offense and the defense that they have been putting together, no matter what Rick has done in the past in Mississippi State, Western Kentucky, whatever, he's running what Penny wants him to run. I mean, he's taking what Penny tells him that's what will be run. So whether it's Faraji, whether it's Rick, Andy, it doesn't matter. They're running Penny Hardaway's system. Parth, great stuff as always. Really appreciate it. Want to make sure you follow Parth on Twitter. That's at PUPADHYAYA_. Of course, read all his great stories at the Daily Memphian. We appreciate it, man.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you
so much.
Yes, sir.
This hour of the program brought to you by Acura Memphis, Ridgeway and 385 online, AcuraofMemphis.com. Go by, check them out, take a test drive of those beautiful Acura automobiles. Ask about the new electric vehicles, the EVs from Acura as well. Check out those certified pre-owned Acuras, other pre-owned vehicles as well that they've got for you. And, of course, great people to deal with. Always a great experience when you go see the folks at Acura of Memphis.
All right, we're coming right back to wrap it up for this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Oh, come on, it's funny.
Can't do it.
Trick or treat, here's some meat.
Seriously, the Central Barbecue spot for October has been about Halloween for like 5 straight years.
Look, you've done the ladling Central Barbecue beans into their bag thing.
Yeah, I got in trouble both times. They didn't like the phrase ladling beans into their bag.
Well, what else happens in October? Hey, I tell you what, do they do any pumpkin spice stuff?
God, no.
That's good. I'm tapped for anything else for October. How about just a straight spot about how great the food is at Central Barbecue?
What, like Central Barbecue has the best slow-smoked ribs in Memphis?
Yeah, something like that.
Too boring.
It doesn't matter, we're out of time anyway.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE $678 $6055, MSRP $21,610, Nero P5017859, MSRP $41,090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP $49,687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Hey, Jeff Allen, the weather's getting cooler, but the deals keep on getting hotter at Gossett Kia South. What you got going on, Jeff?
Only the best deals you'll find on your new Kia, Randy. I've got 41 MPG Highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 do it signing. I've got EV action with a 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 do it signing. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 do it signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Big thanks to Parthu Pajai for joining us. And by the way, he has just dropped a story at the Daily Memphian on something we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, Ken Pomeroy and Ken Pom rankings and ratings and where Memphis stands offensively, defensively, and what basically with their ratings, what it ends up being as far as win and losses. And I think Ken had him losing how many games?
Well, if you go at his game-by-game predictions, there's only 3 losses. He has losing the Missouri game, the Texas A&M game, and at Florida Atlantic. But at his overall projected record, he has them at 22-7.
22-7.
Because as he said before, they're not going to win every single game that they are, according to his thing, expected to win.
Plus, I don't think
you lose.
And I don't think they take into consideration all the games in a tournament, because they don't know who those teams are that they're going to play.
He does not have a prediction for anything past the first game of the tournament because he doesn't know who they're going to play, so it'd be impossible to predict.
Right. Ken's a good friend of the show. We'll get him on as well. But that story as far as Ken Pom and those rankings and ratings and all the numbers that he does, all those great analytics, is part of Parth's story. So check it out at the Daily Memphian. So they continue to talk on Capitol Hill. Ole Miss Collective Director Walker Jones on the collectives and recruiting. Quote, "We do not participate in the recruiting process. This is best left to coaches and athletic departments under the strict watch of the NCAA." Yeah, that's a fine line. Certainly, the recruiting comes first. It's like the chicken and the egg. And then it's what can you do from a collective standpoint for that player? Is that player, I'm sure, on official visits or when first recruited, wants to know what's in it for them. And rightly so, because that's part of the landscape of athletics right now. The question is, how do they keep it in check? As we talked with the head coach of Rhodes, Rich Duncan, he said that genie's out of the bottle. There's no way you can put that genie back in there. But they're trying to figure out a way to keep it from getting even more out of hand than what it is. I don't know if it's as bad as what they say, but it's not great. But as far as those collectives are concerned, again, that's a kind of a fine line there on the topic of recruiting.
And coaches in the past didn't pay players either.
So you don't believe what Walker's saying, huh?
No, I mean, they're not allowed to be a part of it, so they're going to say that
they're not allowed.
I mean, everyone's going to tell you that, but, I mean, again, just like coaches didn't pay players.
He also said that collectives are responsible for 80% of NIL compensation. Roughly 20% is from brands and such, according to Ross Dillinger. And again, that's comments from Walker Jones.
If they do get to the point where the players, if they make athletes employees, could Mikey Williams get out of a work release program?
Jeez.
I don't know how that works. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Do they have to be employees for him to be a work release situation for him? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just wondering what the possibilities are.
NCPA Ramaji Huma, again, former friend of the show, says Congress should create broad legislation, not a narrow NIL bill that addresses athlete health care and safety. That's another thing, too, as far as that's concerned, with the whole health care and, being protected for not only your time in the school, but after that as well. Lots going on, lots that they're talking about today.
Genesis Diamonds, they're changing the way things are done here in Memphis in the jewelry business. So if you haven't been to Genesis yet, you need to check it out. If you're in the market for any kind of jewelry, any fine jewelry, an engagement ring especially, but maybe you've got a special occasion coming up and you're looking for some fine jewelry for that special someone, go check them out at Genesis Diamonds. You'll be blown away by the selection, the price, the value that you get, and a great service that you get as well. Diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings right there in the store, not in like catalogs for you to look at, right there in the store for you to look at and try on and check out everything you need to see. They're right there with thousands of engagement rings, colored gemstone jewelry. It is an absolute jewelry superstore. No pressure, no games, and unbelievable prices that will blow you away. Genesis Diamonds, located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. That's at Poplar and Perkins Extended. They're right there in the middle of the shopping center. Go by, check them out. You'll thank me for sending you there. Do not buy anywhere else till you check them out at Genesis Diamonds. Tonight in college football, Middle Tennessee is taking on Liberty. The Middle Tennessee program got a little issue on their hands as one of their staffers has been arrested. It is their director of player personnel, Nick Woodley, was arrested Sunday in Murfreesboro after he allegedly exposed himself to a girl in Target.
Was targeting the girl in Target?
And this is
horrible.
Extremely creepy. They say that a young girl informed that Woodley was inside the store and complimented her outfit before moving a basket away from his groin and exposing his genitals.
Oh, my gosh.
He has been suspended, not surprisingly. So little bit of a distraction for Middle Tennessee State as they are one of the 3 games tonight in the world of college football.
Yeah. On that fun note, time to wrap up our Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Also today, Major League Baseball National League Championship Series, Game 2, Phillies and Arizona. That'll get underway tonight, 7:07. That game is on TBS. Want to thank Connor O'Gara, Jeff Crane, Rich Duncan, and Parth Upadhyay for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow we'll be busy. Alex Simmons at 7:25, the Memphis women's basketball coach. We'll talk soccer with Lawrence Dockery, Memphis 901 FC, gearing up for their first-round playoff match on Saturday at home against Louisville. Of course, our regulars on Wednesday, Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, and Michael Cole on the Grizzlies, as we'll be 1 week away from opening day tomorrow when DeMichael joins us from the Commercial Appeal. Plus 5 favorite things. Get your list together, your 5 favorite television medical shows of all time. Again, thank you, folks, for listening. We appreciate it. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next for Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd. I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.